San Fran's phone. The girl's vehicle burst into flames when it was later struck by
My
a
mother
pickup
was fish
truck.
grease.
Brandon Montoya are charged
that little
with
coffee can.
The California
little
Highway
coffee
Patrol
can right
is
over the
investigating a crash involving several vehicles that led to one person being trapped inside their car. It happened just before 9 o'clock last night on Panama Road and Cottonwood Road.
That's my
when a
grandmother,
Toyota,
too.
a Lexus, and a Nissan SUV collided near the intersection. The victim was taken to the hospital.
Killing ourselves.
Deputies are on the lookout for a domestic violence suspect after they say he escaped with an armed friend. Kern County Sheriff's deputies answered a domestic violence call in the 2300 block of Center Street in Bakersfield. Investigators say the suspect fled in a car with his friend, who allegedly fired several gunshots while driving away.
Hey, Chris,
no one was hurt. Deputies later served search warrants on the 8300 block of Brundage Lane, but the suspect has not yet been found. The investigation is ongoing. Fire restrictions have been lifted for the Sequoia National Forest. According to the U.S. Forest Service, the cooler weather means that campfires are being allowed on the Kern River, Hume Lake, and Western Divide Ranger districts. They do ask that you check local regulations at each district and national forest that you visit. Locations, weather, and regulations vary, and check your campfire permits as they expire on December 31st each year. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour. When it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You play ping pong?
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like.
JR's got a ping pong table.
All over your nice Ivy League suit.
And I'm a really good ping pong player. I am.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody. And a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing. For those subscribing on YouTube, it's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com. Chris Burdick producing the broadcast on this 22nd day of October. We got a great show for you this afternoon. We really do. We'll talk about Public Health Department's child health report, how many children died and how many needlessly died. We'll get into that, which ties in to our 5 o'clock guest. We're going to talk with Lilo Murillo and Maria Bermudez. They are the assistant and the director. Let me say that differently. Lilo Murillo, Maria Bermudez, they are respectively the director and assistant director of the Department of Human Services. We'll talk with them at 5 o'clock. We talked to Eileen Para on Monday, Mr. Burdick, or Tuesday. Eileen Para from Tuesday. Open Door Network. Was it Tuesday?
No, I'm sorry, it was Monday.
It was Monday.
It was Monday.
Yeah, they had their.
Today was Thursday. I don't know why.
Oh, how I wish.
I was thinking the same thing.
They had their domestic violence candlelight vigil last night. You'll hear from Eileen when we talk with her on Monday about that. And I'm really excited at the bottom of the hour, just 23 so minutes. Mark Langell, Dodger historian, will lead us into Friday's World Series. Mark is a good friend, and the single, literally, now that Vin is gone, literally this guy is the most knowledgeable person on the planet about Dodger baseball. I can't think of, Peter O'Malley is still alive, but I don't know how old he is. He's got to be in his 80s. Even if, I don't even know if Peter O'Malley is alive, the son of Walter O'Malley, one of the original owners of the Dodgers, the Brooklyn Dodgers, who was the man who brought the Dodgers out to Los Angeles. But suffice it to say, Mark it's remarkable what he knows, what he'll tell you all about. And he's one of the most envied people that I know, because he works at Dodger Stadium. And I asked him when he's going to Canada, and he said, no, somebody's got to hold down the fort at Chavez Ravine. So we'll talk with him at the bottom of the hour. It's a Wednesday, so Howard Marcus will be with us at 4 o'clock. And more news on Mark Sanchez. His attorneys were in court today for a pretrial hearing, and the hearing has been set in December. We will break down the 4 counts against the former, tell me if I get this right, Mr. Burdick, former Jet, former Cowboy, and he played for one more team. I can't remember. Jets, Cowboys. Oh, and he played for the Eagles.
Yes.
Played for the Eagles. And former Fox commentator. And this is a sad case. It really is, because I liked Mark Sanchez. Very likable guy, SC kid, lives out here in California. He's back in California, we're told. He's been released from the state of Indianapolis, but he's in some trouble. And my man Craig Melvin on the Today Show, they talked to, they had a package on it. That's how I found out about the pretrial hearing. And he asked the reporter covering it, what about the future of his broadcasting career? And I was like, Craig, my brother.
What future?
My man is going to prison. I mean, well, he's a celebrity, so he's probably not going to prison, but he's got no future in television. And what's going to sink him? What do you think is going to sink him, Chris Burdick? Have you been involved in this at all? Have you been following it at all?
Yeah, I was following a little bit.
You know,
really just the lacerations on the man.
Perfect. The pictures of the 69-year-old man is going to sink him.
Because
once they present that in trial, I saw it this morning in this package. Dude,
bloody.
Oh, he got cut in the face. I don't know whether Sanchez took the knife because we'll talk about it later. But the picture is like, ooh. And Sanchez is a 6'2" athlete, 38 years old, and this man was 69 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, once they put that picture in the trial, the jury's just going to be like, oh, he's guilty. He's guilty. 38, 69 in the picture. He got slashed. I said we talk about it later.
I'm assuming.
But he got slashed so badly that it cut his tongue. He can't even barely talk.
That's the thing I don't know is how he got slashed, but I do know that he was thrown up against a dumpster, from what I understand, and the floor. So maybe when he hit the dumpster, his head hit something, maybe a corner.
I was thinking maybe Sanchez took the knife from him.
Yeah, that's the other thing I can think of. He took the knife and used it.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, he's definitely going to jail.
Yeah. Look at our girl today. Good googly moogly. And what else is going on? I told you about the DHS people we're going to talk with. And at 5:30, because the 5 o'clock interview is going to be intense, I would stick around for that or come back for that or watch it tonight on YouTube. But at 5:30, we're going to have some fun. Top 10 Halloween candies.
Ooh.
And the number one is my number one. I don't agree with a lot of what's on this thing.
It's got to be what I'm thinking.
Like Twix is in the top 10.
No.
Twix?
Get that nonsense out of here.
You want to know what else is in the top 10? Stuff that Nerds. I don't even know what that is.
You don't know what Nerds are?
Never had it in my mouth.
Little Willy Wonka candies. I mean, they're okay. They're not that great.
Never had them. But my personal favorite candy is number one. So,
I think I'm in the exact same boat as you, but
yeah. What is it? I won't tell you whether it's right or wrong. But what is it?
CPB.
CPB.
I mean, it's made with C, P, and B.
Okay, calm down there. Calm down.
Yeah, okay, you're getting what I'm cooking now.
Yeah, calm down. But in the meantime, we have to start with the Public Health Department's Child Health Care Report, where they went before the board and reported that in 2024, 128 children died. But the most troubling stat, because they're crowing like this is a good number because it came down. But 128 dead children, the coroner's office is reporting that 47 of those could have been prevented. And one of the questions we'll ask Lilo Murillo, is it Lito or Lito? Lito, I believe it's Lito. I can't even read my own writing. I'll check it. I'll find out before we talk to him. But one of the first questions I'm going to ask you is how many of those 47 that were deemed preventable fall under the auspices of Child Protective Services? In other words, how many of those children were abused? How many of those children were damaged or killed by their own parents? And we will certainly get into the genesis Mata situation. And I'm just going to ask the simple question: how does that happen? How does a Genesis Mata happen where an 8-year-old, I almost every day, today we didn't go that route, but I almost every day, if we get on the freeway from my house, pass by the La Quinta, and I just look to the right and just shake my head, just absolutely shake my head. How does that happen? So we'll talk with them at 5. But this is, to me, very, very troubling. It really, really is. And some of the other causes of death, sleeping accidents, I guess that's SIDS for babies, water issues, where, I've gone back and forth on this because I don't have any children, and that's the first thing you're going to say, but I was 10 years older than my sister, and I helped raise all 3 of my nephews, except for Thaddeus. And I understand how it is to have a 2 or 3-year-old, because they get crazy when they start walking, and you can lose a child in the house like that. You know what I'm saying? And if you have a 2-year-old and you got a sliding glass door and a pool in the backyard, and you're in the kitchen and you're cooking, and you think your 2-year-old is just kind of wandering around the kitchen, and the next thing you know, you're like, hey, Chris, and they've opened the sliding glass door, and bing, bang, bong, and health people will tell you to, put gates around your pool, or all kind of different mechanisms you can use to prevent kids from getting to the pools, but that's one of the issues. And unfortunately, I believe that the other issue is just abuse. And that's why we're going to talk with the DHS people. I'm really excited about this interview, only because, I could talk to David Valdeo today if I wanted to. If I had called the congressman at 1 o'clock, I could have had him on the show today. Vince is like a day. Allie is really good to me, his aide. We can get him on tomorrow. I could talk to any of the supervisors. If I called them this morning, I'd have them on today. I could talk to the mayor tomorrow if we called her right now. But for whatever reason, it has taken me 6 weeks to get the head of DHS on this program. I don't understand why. It's a 15-minute conversation over the phone. We're talking to him over the phone. So it's not like, I understand you're too busy to come to Easton, which I really don't. I'm lying. But to get on the phone with the media for 10, 15 minutes, it's taken me 6 weeks to get this guy. So I'll be blunt with you. You've understood my feeling in terms of journalism. No, there's no such thing as objectivity. There's no such thing. I can't cover a Klan meeting and be objective. But what I can do, what I've always tried to do as a journalist and as a radio talk show host, is be fair. I'm going to be fair to these people. But let me be honest. Let me be blunt. I'm angry, as I would hope you all would be. Even if it's just Genesis Mata, and it's not. We know it's not. That can't happen where a case was opened in the situation. They examined the family and Genesis, and yet she was still found in a bathtub, tortured to death in a hotel about a mile from where I live. So I'm going to try to be as fair as I can. And Chris, feel free. This is the one time I'll give you carte blanche. Look up and be like,
let's calm down.
Calm down a little bit, Ralph.
Well, I totally get your frustrations. You're absolutely correct.
I am. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I have friends who work, well, not in this area of it, but I do have friends who work in social work, and it's not acceptable.
A lot of it is just understaffing. I was reading old articles this morning on this, where each case manager has something like 8 to 10, and sometimes even more cases. And the process in which they make a determination whether somebody goes into the home, I think, is flawed. And that's another one of the questions we'll ask. If everything's hunky-dory, why does there need to be an external review? And why did they choose SPI? It's a nonprofit organization out of San Diego. So we'll get into that. Let's go ahead and take our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll talk about the Candlelight Vigil. Eileen Parra was with us on Monday from the Open Door Network. You'll hear from her. And then it gets really exciting at the bottom of the hour when we talk with our good friend Mark Langell, either live from his Pasadena home or from Dodger Stadium. First question I'm going to ask him is, and I'm just saying hypothetically, if the Dodgers dominate the Toronto Blue Jays and either sweep them or win in 5, can we call this one of the greatest clubs, at least in Dodger history, or perhaps in MLB history? We'll ask that question of our good friend Mark Langell. The DHS director's assistant just texted me. We might have gotten blown off, y'all. Hang on. Oh, we're going to call them. They're giving us his number. Sweet. Thank you. Let me tell her. I'll tell her thank you during the break. Let's go to break. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. Just getting started on a Wednesday right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
On the next Armstrong and Getty show, the average cost of a family's health insurance plan is now $26.
You want to just forward it to me?
I'll give it to you.
Healthcare system.
Well, you add that to car insurance and homeowners insurance. How does anybody afford to live?
631
problem in general. Check in on all the other big
6550.
wars. What's Trump up to there? Next Armstrong and Getty.
Yeah, 661 631 6550.
96.1 and
Yeah, put
AM
that in your
1180
Rolodex.
KERN.
Meet
We're
Paul
gonna talk to
Sheldon's
that
client,
motherfucker
Norma
again.
Diaz, owner of La Rosa Fruit Bars and Ice Cream.
Hi, I'm Norma Diaz from La Rosa Fruit Bars and Ice Cream,
Lido.
and I'm a client and friend of Paul Sheldon. I've known Paul for many, many years, and my parents happened to be his first clients. So, of course, I called Paul and immediately felt this peace come over me, knowing that I didn't have to freak out about making a big decision. His knowledge about Medicare and your health insurance needs are beyond compare, and I was taken care of immediately by his wonderful staff. He knew everything that I needed and what I wouldn't need, so I was pretty much in and out of there in record time. If you're getting to that age or you're going to be needing to know about Medicare, then he's the one to call. He will totally help you out and get you pointed in the right direction. You're going to leave there feeling a great accomplishment, no concerns, and even if you have questions later, his staff can help you out. Those feelings are just priceless to me. So call Paul. You'll be glad you did.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Bear Mountain Sports is having their biggest ever fall hunting sale. Why? Because it's also a moving sale. Stock up now for all your fall hunting needs. Ammo, clothes, calls, all your fall hunting gear. Not a hunter? It's okay. We have major discounts on merchandise throughout the store. Many items are up to 75% off. We're getting ready to move 2 miles up the road and have lots of discounts and great buys throughout the store. Shop early for the best selection. Come shop for semi-auto pistols before they're banned in California. Stock is going fast. Bear Mountain Sports is located on Weepatch Highway just south of the 58 freeway. Got a question? Give us a call. 366-AMMO. Come take advantage of the great buys and look for us in 2026 up the road about 2 miles at Pioneer Plaza. Locally owned and operated. We'll see you at the Bear, where the tradition continues.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
You feeling romantic?
I just want to throw some Barbara in there.
A little Barbara.
Without
Can we see that
it
we
just being
were
a
all
Superman.
so simple then? My clothes are filthy.
Why is this? No, did you not roll yourself this morning?
I left a Kleenex in a pair of my shorts in the dryer.
Yeah,
So all of my clothes look like they have dandruff. And I couldn't find my roller. I have a really nice roller Lori gave me.
Mm.
You know those things where you tear the thing off and it can
last forever.
de-lynch you. Yeah, it does last forever because Lori is 13 years ago. Lori booted me 3 weeks into my tenure here. A horrible day in America. She called me and said, the day of the golf tournament, not our golf tournament, the old golf tournament we used to have with John Hatton. God, that was fun. Ever told you about that?
I think you mentioned it.
We used to, it was John Hatton, Randy Giamara, Tom Ming, Chris Zucchini, Alan Cornejo. We had about 12 guys. And we'd all throw in like $100 or $200. And it was a two-man best score. So you had to take the score of both the players. And low score won. And we would play on the Friday of the Masters. And John would, Mr. Hatton would tape the Masters at his house while we play in the morning. And then we'd be done around 12:30, 1 o'clock. We'd go to John's house. And as a great quote from a movie, he certainly knows how to throw a party. He has this beautiful patio. We would get there and sushi all over the place. Just nothing but sushi all over the place. We're drinking Don Julio margaritas. And it was just so much fun. And one year, Randy Giamara and I won. I shot an 84. Just go show how long ago it was. And I think Randy shot an 80. And we won like 4 bills. And that was, and we've been doing it for years. And I was always the only, because the women would come at like 5 o'clock. And then John would have a taco truck pull up in his driveway. And then all the wives would come with the kids around 5 o'clock after we were done watching the Friday round of the Masters. And I never came with a girlfriend. And that year, my first year here, 12 years ago, was going to be the first year I was going to bring a girlfriend. I was bringing Lori, who's a beautiful 5'11" blonde. And I was really excited, my friends, to finally meet my girlfriend. And halfway through my round, she called me and said, we need to talk. And I go, Lori, I'm playing really well. I got to call you when we get done. She goes, no, I really need to talk to you now. I said, I really, really can't. I'm playing extremely well, and I might win some money today. I got to go. I'll talk to you later. Bye. So we get through, and I finally call her, and she says, my parents and my grandparents, because at that time she had all 4 of her grandparents alive. And she said they all basically did an intervention and said that I have to stay with my husband until the kids graduate from high school.
See, I don't see that as an intervention. I see that as a lot of peer pressure.
Well, you call it whatever the hell you want. And I was like, are you serious? You don't even like the guy. He was a CHP officer who was checking tires at the Grapevine. And she used to tell me he talks to my kids like perps. And I just, and I never saw her again. I never saw her again. Why has this whole week been a re-examination of Ralph Bailey's relationships?
I don't know. You got on the topic with Terry, and we haven't really gotten off of it yet.
And I'm a happy man. I'm not like whining or crying. I'm meeting people. I'm meeting people out there. There are things going on in my life right now.
Are we on takeoff yet? Or?
No.
We're boarded.
We're still on the jetway.
Gotcha.
We haven't boarded the plane yet. We have not boarded the plane yet. Although we're further down the jetway. We're not really near the ticket agent. We're closer to the door of the airplane than we are the ticket agent. You know what I'm saying? But no, I don't think I could declare that we are on the plane quite yet. But that's my situation. God dang it. I have no time for Eileen Parra. Do we? How much time we got?
Not really. You only got about a minute.
Oh, it's too bad. We'll get to it before we get out of here. Eileen Parra is the one of the heads of Open Door Network, and they had their vigil last night. It went really well. I hope you all saw some of it on KGT 17 or Channel 23. But we will get back to that. It's really important. I do want to spend some time talking about that. But I'm really excited as we go to break because we're off. I'm not sure whether we're going to South Pasadena, the home of another ex-girlfriend, Kimberly Michelle Williams. I'm going to give myself a nervous breakdown. I really am. Just going to crack. So lonely. But either there or Chavez Ravine, because the Dodger historian, Mark Langell will join us. Feel free to call the show if you've got a question for the most knowledgeable man about Dodger baseball on the planet, 842-5376. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1, AM 1180, KRN, where we're streaming live at KernRadio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has announced new sanctions against Russia's two biggest oil companies and blasted Moscow's refusal to end its senseless war. The sanctions against Rosneft and Lukoil, as well as dozens of subsidiaries, comes after months of bipartisan pressure on Trump to hit Russia with harder sanctions on its oil industry. The Justice Department has announced an agreement with the University of Virginia to pause civil rights investigations. The Charlottesville campus became a target of President Trump's administration in April, when the Justice Department began reviewing the university's admissions and financial aid processes. Officials accused its president of failing to end diversity, equity, and inclusion practices Trump has called unlawful. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. The California Highway Patrol is investigating a crash involving several vehicles that led to one person being trapped inside their car. It happened just before 9 o'clock last night on Panama Road and Cottonwood Road when a Toyota, a Lexus, and a Nissan SUV collided near the intersection. The victim was taken to the hospital for treatment. Fire restrictions have been lifted for the Sequoia National Forest. According to the U.S. Forest Service, the cooler weather means that campfires are being allowed on the Kern River, Hume Lake, and Western Divide Ranger districts. They do ask that you check local regulations at each district and national forest that you visit and check your campfire permits as they expire on December 31st each year. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th. So go to uhc.com/Medicare.
Is that the same little Jesus?
United Healthcare Medicare plans.
Are you serious?
Medicare coverage California can count on.
Not again.
Are you serious? Is he a big religious kid?
We should call American Business Machines.
Since 1927, American Business Machines, an authorized Canon dealer, has been providing reliable office solutions. From state-of-the-art copiers to advanced printers, we ensure your business runs smoothly. Visit abm1.com.
Weird, but funny.
Today at 1-877-YES-ABM1. That's 1-877-937-2261. American Business Machines, your trusted partner for all your office technology needs.
It's the JR Show.
So check bag clip Andre Gonzalez was asking, why are we upset that Dolores Huerta gets the money when we weren't upset that any other business gets the money? Well, Dolores Huerta is the only business in town that has gone out and actively campaigned for Prop 50 or any other political thing. That's why we're upset about it. You can't give money from a city to a political organization disguised as a nonprofit.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Friday, 5 p.m., live from Toronto, Canada. The 2025 Dodgers will try to become only the second team in this century to go back-to-back. And joining us is our good friend of the program, Dodger historian, sir.
Ralph, here we go again. Series.
Yeah, I'm really excited and can't wait. Cannot wait.
It's gotten to the point now where, Ralph, it's surreal because just imagine 13 years ago, 2013, if you had said, oh yeah, from now on, they're going to be in the playoffs every year. And if you look at it historically, only the Braves and Yankees had as long or longer a streak. The Braves had a 14-year streak. So, you realize that you're kind of riding this little time capsule as far as the most successful period in franchise. And that's amazing for a franchise that goes back to 1890.
Yeah, it really is. I don't mean to jinx us, but let's just say...
Go ahead, Ralph. Go ahead, Ralph.
Well, you have no idea, Mark. My audience calls me the mush because my predictions are so bad. But let's say, hypothetically, the Dodgers either sweep or beat the Blue Jays in 5. Can we make the argument that this is certainly one of the greatest Dodger teams or perhaps one of the greatest teams in baseball?
I don't care if they beat the Blue Jays in 7 games, which requires the Blue Jays to make 10 errors in the 9th inning and sloppily hand it to us, because at the end of the day, you don't remember the exact details of all the championships. You look back at 1988, the close call with Kirk Gibson. You look at 1981, the 3 home games after they're down 2 games to none.
Yeah.
They had to win 5-4, 8-7, and 2-1. You go back to 1959, they lose the very first game 11-0 to the White Sox. 1955, they lose the first 2 games at Yankee Stadium. All you see at the stadium right now is 8 circles with special years, and those are championships. So it doesn't matter, and knock on wood, if they were to beat the Blue Jays, all you're going to see is a circle 2025. You're not going to see any Ralph Bailey details as far as, how they did it. The key is if they do it.
I'm just, the only point I was trying to make is I've never seen a club dominate the playoffs the way we have. I mean, I was so nervous about Philly. We dominated them. And I was more nervous about the Brewers. And there was no way in the world I could have ever believed that we were going to sweep those guys. And I just think that this club, the timing is phenomenal. How Mookie has come back around, how the bottom of the lineup, which I have, as my listeners will tell you, Mark, have whined about, that we've got a bunch of guys hitting in the hundreds in our lineup, but yet those same guys, particularly that one guy who is the most phenomenal playoff player I have ever seen in Dodger history, Kike Hernandez. It's remarkable.
Well, obviously you're not old enough to have seen Colfax in the playoffs, but regardless of that, Ralph, because I know you're so young, think about how it is as a historian when you can read things like you could read the tea leaves, and one of the stats that came out that said, oh, we've got the lowest ERA, for starters at this point in the playoffs since the 1996 Braves. Oh, isn't that great? And then I said to myself, 1996 Braves, they had a 2-0 lead, and Jim Leyritz of the Yankees hit a dramatic home run off of Mark Wohlers. So instead of the Braves sweeping, suddenly the Yankees and Joe Torre win the next 4 games. So I think the most important thing is just enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen. Whatever you think's going to happen in terms of analysis as far as stats, key players, and this and that. Whoever thought the Philly series would end on a ball that went about 5 feet and thrown away by the pitcher?
Crazy.
So, we're going to remember that probably more than Schwarber's, 600-foot home run over the roof. So I think the thing to do is expect the unexpected. And then if you do that, then it's not going to drive you crazy going, but that's not how it's supposed to happen. Well, that's why it's so great. That's why we remember Kirk Gibson and Freddie Freeman and all these heroes that suddenly step up, because it can't be scripted, because it's all live. It's going to drive you crazy.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. In a week from now, all your predictions, you're going to go, you know what? Some of them came true, but I never would have. Whoever would have thought Tommy Edman last year, NLCS MVP.
Yeah.
Now, if you say Tommy Tanks, everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark Langell is our guest, Dodger historian. So it's already been announced by Dave Roberts. Doc has said that it'll be Blake Snell, no surprise, and then Yamamoto after that. What's your guess after that? Tyler Glasnow and then Shohei?
I think it depends how they are in the series, as far as, depending how they are, whether they split, whether they win 2, whether they lose 2. Because sometimes, in the other series, if you had a lead in the series, then you had the luxury to maybe give somebody an extra day's rest, as opposed to, oh my gosh, this is an elimination game. So I think you're going to have to play by ear how the series goes before you can start penciling in who's going to pitch. The other thing too, you don't know the wear on the bullpen. The last time, obviously spoiled with Yamamoto pitching the complete game and Snell going 8.
Yeah.
So you also have to go by pitch count, as far as we haven't really had to have a bullpen game like we did Game 4 against San Diego last year, an elimination game, and then a bullpen game at Yankee Stadium last year in the World Series. Suddenly we've got these, sort of the 4 horsemen in Notre Dame, these starters that are going past the 5th inning. So that's a different makeup than there was from last year.
Yeah. Well, you brought it up, so I'll get into it. I have been extremely critical of our bullpen. I think if we'd had a decent bullpen during the year, we would have had the best record in baseball. And then suddenly, Blake Trinan is Blake Trinan again. And Vesia is pitching well going into this thing. Be honest with us now, are you a little bit nervous about our bullpen? And the good thing is we have finally, I think, stumbled staggeringly, haphazardly into finding a closer in Roki Sasaki. What say you?
Well, you're exactly right, Ralph, in terms of nobody saw Sasaki on the map in the second half of the season. It looked like he was going to be a starting pitcher that couldn't pitch anymore due to that shoulder impingement. And suddenly he comes back, and it's kind of like when Gagne was a starter, and all of a sudden they made him a reliever in 2002 and everything clicked. The one thing you don't know is in 2026, is Sasaki long-term built for a closer role? You don't know, because John Smoltz went back and forth. Darren Dreifert wanted to be a starter. Some guys can do it, some guys can't. So I think the important thing, enjoy the week to 10 days, because you're going to be able to play musical chairs with positions in 2026 as far as what could happen.
Yeah.
And as far as the bullpen during the regular season being tough, I think when you look at it and you talk about we could have had the best record, well, Milwaukee had the best record. I think the key is, whether it's an election peaking at the right time, whether it's the Olympics, training when you're peaking, at the right time. I mean, just imagine you're in the Olympics and you set a world record and they said, that's great. It's the semifinals. You got one more race. So that's what this is. They've gotten this far. All they can do is put the blinders on, not worry about the history, not worry about the 1975 or 76 Reds or 1921-22 New York Giants, the only other 2 National League teams to repeat. All they can worry about is winning 4 games. The rest, if they want to talk about dynasties and championships and all that, that's fine. They just have to take care of business first.
Yeah, and a lot of people forget the most famous reliever in terms of Dodger history, Dennis Eckersley, the man that gave up the home run to Kirk Gibson, was a longtime starter before he became an ace reliever. So it's not peculiar.
You're exactly right, Ralph. And I think the best thing about Dennis Eckersley, think about giving up that famous home run. He didn't let it affect him.
No.
He still had a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
And he was able to tip his cap to Kirk Gibson in that moment. And I have so much respect for Eckersley because he was totally fine with it. He said, hey, he got me. And, some other times, players, give up a big moment in the postseason and it sort of dogs them. They're sort of haunted by it. And you think of poor Bill Buckner and that ball going through his legs. And here's a guy that nearly had, 3,000 hits in the major leagues. Eckersley was fine with it. He said he just beat me. And he ended up in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and didn't they come back and win the championship the very next year?
You're exactly right, Ralph.
Yeah.
And so, you all you can do is just, my only advice to your listeners is to just expect the unexpected and know that the team historian who seemingly knows everything about this franchise
yes, you
since
do.
1890 has no clue what's going to happen starting Friday. And I'm okay with that because it's just a blank canvas. It's going to be the players that write the history. We'll be talking about it for the next 50 years, but we have no clue what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Dodger historian Mark Langell, our guest. Has anybody been added to the World Series roster?
Not that I know of, because I don't think they've had to release that until tomorrow, because since you've got the first game on Friday and today's only Wednesday, I think they have until the day before to do it. I haven't seen any announcements as far as any roster changes. Usually they do it the day before a series starts.
Yeah. When does the club take off for Canada? Because I'm pretty sure I saw Blake Snell at a Laker game last night.
Well, yeah, you can't miss the Laker game. I know the World Series is there, but come on, it's the Lakers. And they're going to leave tomorrow morning, and the front office is very excited because the front office is going to go along as well. And so they're going to go, and that's very exciting for them because there's some employees who've never been to the World Series. Other employees, it's like notches on the belt, in terms of if you've been here. I've been here 31 years, and just think, it took 25 years to get to the World Series, and then suddenly, you're about to get, gosh, this is embarrassing. It's either, I guess it's 5 World Series rings now, so it just doesn't seem real.
Do you have?
Yeah, I guess it'd be 5. Yeah, I get one. So that's the other crazy thing. When the Charlie Brown and the South Pasadena Little League was suddenly handed a diamond ring with his name on it, you're like, I don't think I would have had this on my bingo card when I was 7 years old.
That is so cool. I didn't realize that you get one as well. Are you part of the whole ceremony and everything? Not
part of the whole ceremony, but
who cares?
They have a ceremony for the employees.
That's pretty cool.
It's just one of those things that's surreal. But I think the most important thing, it's still the greatest job in the world, and it's every day being at the ballpark at a place that you grew up in. And so I don't predicate my happiness on how the team does. When the team does well, I'm happy for everybody, that follows the team, and they're very excited and everything like that. But my family laughs at me. They're like, Bozo gets to go to the circus every day.
No kidding.
And that's definitely true. Because you know me, Ralph, whenever we talk to me, whether it's opening day or middle of the season, I've never had I'm 60 years old, 53 years. Never a bad day at the ballpark.
No kidding. Mark Langell, our guest, Dodger historian. I'll leave you with this. Put your analytic hat on and analyze the series for us. What do the Dodgers have to do? What do the Blue Jays have to do to stop this juggernaut?
Well, I think both teams just have to play their game in terms of, philosophically. You saw the craziness of the Blue Jays and the Mariners as far as that being, could go either way. I think, it's the basics as far as good pitching, good defense, because those are the keys. If you give up too many unearned runs, or if your pitching staff, gets hammered, there's really no defense for that. So that's the key. And remember the little things too. It's going to get lost if the Dodgers go on to win the title. But I think one of the most underrated plays was Freddie Freeman scooping that ball that Tommy Edman threw to end that second game in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, there's 2 runners on base. If that throw gets by Freeman,
it's a tie ball game.
Suddenly it's 1-1. Well, it could have scored 2 runs, and suddenly that could have been disaster. So little things like that. The Phillies pitcher throwing the ball away on the Pajes tapper in front of the plate. Just little things like that can really change the course of history. And then all you need to do is think about 2004 Boston Red Sox. They're down 3-0 in the American League Championship Series against the Yankees, and they're down by 1 run in the 9th inning, and they send in a pinch runner who has to steal a base to try to get into scoring position. And anybody want to look it up? A guy named Dave Roberts stole the base. And the Red Sox ended up winning their first championship in 86 years. Dave Roberts played maybe 6 weeks in a Red Sox uniform, and he's forever a hero in New England.
He absolutely is. He could not buy his own dinner in Boston if he tried. He really couldn't.
No, definitely not.
We'll leave you with this. What's going to happen? Tell us what's going to happen.
Well, what's going to happen is the team historian is going to pace. He's going to be nervous. He's going to get flashbacks for the last 100 years of the World Series, thinking, oh my gosh, this is what happened in 1922, and everything like that. But he's also going to remember just to enjoy it, to remind himself to enjoy it, because a week to 10 days, I mean, as I said in the beginning of this interview, Ralph, another time at the World Series, and you think of the poor Seattle Mariners who founded in 1977, never been to a fall classic.
Only team in baseball not to go to the World Series.
Exactly.
I was going to ask you that.
Griffey Jr., A-Rod, Jay Buhner, the
Randy Johnson
wins in 2001 they had the 116 wins. I think for all the listeners, whether you're rooting for the Blue Jays or rooting for the Dodgers, just enjoy it, because it's a very special time. You'll have, the rest of eternity to analyze what happens. But just enjoy it, because it's a special time. And just imagine, for some of these players, it may be their only chance. So it's really something that we just have to celebrate. If you get paralysis by analysis, you're not going to enjoy it. Just look up and watch the show.
Yeah, that's great advice. That really is. And Schwarberger's home run left the stadium?
It did. There was a plaque. And so they added a plaque to the stadium the very next day. And then crazy, a couple days later, Shohei hits one out. And, Schwarber was the first left-handed batter since Willie Stargell, who twice did it in 69 and 73. And then I was talking to Jason Stark of ESPN, and I said, the only thing Shohei really hasn't done is hit a ball out of the ballpark. And would you believe, maybe 6 hours later, he hits the ball out of the ballpark. So it's been an amazing month. But again, it's not over.
Yeah.
Both sides have great teams, and let's just hope it's a great World Series.
Yeah. God, I wish I could take.
Let's hope it's a boring World Series and the Dodgers win.
Exactly. I wish I had your attitude, because I'm nervous already. I really am. Hey, real quick, I'll leave you with this. I lied. I'll leave you with this, because I tried to go through the list with my producer yesterday. I just want to double check. Let's go through the list of players who have hit it out of the stadium.
Well, you had Mike Piazza and Shohei are the only Dodgers to do it. Stargell did it twice, and then Fernando Tatis Jr., and then you had Mark McGwire and Giancarlo Stanton.
Oh, that's the one I missed.
You've had it done 7 times by 6 players.
Giancarlo Stanton.
How did we miss Stanton?
I don't know how I missed that. That's the only one I missed yesterday.
Well, he was with the
Marlins.
Right.
Yeah. God, I can't believe that.
You got to put those pinstripes on for anybody to pay attention.
And did you know, Mark, that a Bakersfield 11-year-old girl she picked up Mark McGwire's home run?
That's outstanding.
Yeah. She's 11 years old. I had her on my show however many years ago it was. Always good. Always great to talk to you.
It's great to talk to you, Ralph, and I hope all your listeners enjoy Enjoy the World Series, and I appreciate you having me on.
And let's hope we talk to you again next week, because that will mean we will be back-to-back world champions.
Absolutely.
All right, sir. You too. Thank you so much. Mark Langell, long time, 31 years with the organization, and most knowledgeable Dodger fan on the planet.
As long as I've been alive.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
That would be one of the best jobs.
I mean, literally, you go to work like whistling every day.
To know all
pulling up in the parking lot of Dodger Stadium, and this is where I work.
To know all the history of it and everything. Oh, God.
And to go into your office, which overlooks Dodger Stadium, when there's nobody there, and you're just like, this is what I do for a living. I get a check every 2 weeks for showing up at the most beautiful place in Los Angeles. God. And I ain't talking about Disneyland either. Quick time out. Not a lot of time for going to the 4 o'clock hour. Head up the hill and talk with our federal agent, Howard Marcus. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a hump day, 22nd day of October, right here on News Talk 96.1, AM 1180, KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, not only would we get to talk mental health with our friend Dr. Corey Gonzalez, but
Hold on to that,
just
because we'll
a
tear that
ton
up
of
and use some
heist-related
Friday.
news. Plus, all the regular news and look and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live.
I can't tell whether I'm shaking it or whether it's still coming.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1
really?
and AM 1180 KERN.
And I had a little phlegm
enrollment
this morning,
period
too,
for
and I was like,
Medicare
oh,
is here.
fuck. It
That
was
means
yellow.
that it is time for
Like
you
the
to
phlegm
select your
over the
Medicare
weekend
plan
was
for
white.
2026.
This morning, it
This
was
annual enrollment period, choose a name you already trust.
I'll make it through
Select
the week.
Current
Yeah, I'll
Family
make it through the
Healthcare Medicare, DSNP, a new
Yeah, I'll
option
make
for
it through the
people who have both Medicare and Medi-Cal. For over 20
because there's no way I can call in on Friday.
Family Healthcare has been a
No way I
trusted
can call
name
in sick
in
on
Medi-Cal.
Friday. That
Now, we're
motherfucker
here to
sitting at the
support
house
your
watching the
Medicare
ball
journey
game.
too. Call 1-866-661-3767. Again, that's 1-866-661-3767.
Wish I could.
Or visit
What? Oh, Friday?
www.currentfamilyhealthcare.com/Medicare to learn more and enroll.
And it won't start till like
Medicare journey with
5:20.
local care you trust. Choose Current Family Healthcare. Current Family Healthcare
maybe
Medicare
like
is an
5:30,
HMO
you're
DSNP
right.
plan with a Medicare
'Cause they
contract
introduced
and a
the whole-
contract with the
both ball
California
clubs.
Medicaid program. Enrollment in Current Family Healthcare Medicare HMO DSNP depends on contract renewal.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the
Should we-
U.S. are
should
now
we play-
spending
who we
on
have on
gas
Friday?
in a year.
Play Bentley at 5:30?
$5,000. That's crazy. If
Get
you
the fuck
drive,
outta
you
here.
have to download Upside, the free app.
Oh, yeah,
that
I
gives
meant to tell you
cash
about that.
back
That's,
every time you get gas.
Micah
That's
Peck's
right.
sister.
You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already
No, we're just gonna
buying.
cut some
you can
out of it-
literally
cut
start
some out of
earning
it
cash
Friday.
back today.
I
And
use
play
Upside
it
every
Friday.
time I fill up. I've already made around $200.
Yeah, it's Micah
You're
Peck's
putting
sister.
gas in your car anyway. Why not
Ballet
get
artist,
real cash
Tyra
back?
Peck.
If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to
No,
help
Mike
pay
is
for
the
a
soccer
vacation
star.
later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per
Out of
gallon on your
nowhere,
first
and I
tank.
forgot
You
to
can
mention
cash
this,
out
like 2 or
anytime
3
right to your
weeks
bank,
ago.
PayPal, or a
She
gift
butt
card
dialed
for
me.
Amazon and other brands. Just download
I'm
the
assuming
free
it was a
Upside
butt
app and use
dial.
promo code
Yeah.
BUY for a 25 cents
No, it just
per gallon
rang
bonus on your first tank.
once.
That's code
I was
BUY
like,
for
Micah
a 25 cents per
I
gallon
almost
bonus.
called her back, but I was
They
like,
say the hardest part
that's
of
the
getting
last
something
thing she
done
wants. She did that by
is getting
accident.
started.
There's no way she wants to hear from
Well,
me.
we did that 30
Doesn't she
years
go up
ago
north and get
when
married?
California first took on the tobacco industry. Now, smoking is down
And isn't she worth like
60%.
millions? Didn't we
Lung
look up her
cancer,
worth?
52%.
And it was like
A couple of our cities
2.8.
have already ended tobacco sales. A California without big tobacco isn't just possible.
Really?
It's already happening. See our progress at undo.org.
Yeah, I think we looked it up. It was something like 2.4 mil.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You
No
still
wonder she
got
quit
it.
being
But
principal.
your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Oh, check this out. This is great. I got a text from Keith Watkins.
Oh, okay.
Do you know who Keith Watkins is?
I know we've had him on the show before.
He is the father of the 11-year-old that caught McGuire's ball.
Oh.
Keith, call us. He's got a picture. I never knew that was Keith's. He plays in our golf tournament all the time. I've been to Dodger games with him and Big Dog.
I'm pretty sure we've had Keith on the show before, haven't we?
Keith, have you been on the show? I'm not sure if he's been on the show.
Name sounds super familiar.
Well, he plays in our golf tournament every year. In fact, I think he won it one year.
Did he? Maybe that's why I remember.
Yeah, I think he got Freddie Couples and Ben Crenshaw to play with him, and he gets like a really stacked team. And Keith's a pretty good player, his damn self. I forgot that was his daughter that caught the ball. Keith, I should have spent the time to have him. But Keith, what are we doing at 4:30? Hey, Keith, if you can, call at 4:30. And, well, I got him right here. Why am I talking to him on the phone? Well, I'm going to ask him to call in. I'm going to ask him to call in and tell the story. I mean, I know it. They were in the park. I told you yesterday. Yeah. They were in the parking lot. They saw this herd coming at them. They didn't know what the hell was going on. They looked down and a ball was rolling. She picked it up, and it was McGuire's. But I'm going to have him try to call in at 4:30. Howard Marcus joins us next.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A large-scale Russian drone and missile attack across Ukraine has killed at least 6 people, including a woman and her 2 daughters.
In the Kyiv region, rescuers discovered the bodies of 3 people, including 2 children, after a strike set a private house ablaze in the village of Perebi. The regional governor explained the victims were a woman and her 2 daughters. Others were found dead in a Dnipro district of the Ukrainian capital, where emergency services rescued 10 people after a fire caused by drone debris hit the 6th floor of a 16-story residential building.
Correspondent Charles de Ledesma reporting. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent tonight announced new sanctions against Russia's 2 biggest oil companies and blasted Moscow's refusal to end its senseless war. The sanctions against Rosneft and Lukoil, as well as dozens of subsidiaries, comes after months
So I
of
just had the Dodgers story on.
President
We were
Trump
talking about the list of men that hit it out of the ballpark. Because I didn't realize this.
Charged the mother of a baby abandoned in a New York City subway station.
She's a 30-year-old Queens woman and faces charges of abandoning and endangering a child. The newborn was left Monday at a passageway at the 34th Street train station subway stop during the morning rush hour. Commuters saw the newborn in blankets, alerted police. The baby was taken to the hospital in stable condition. New York's safe haven law allows parents to leave a newborn at safe places like hospitals, firehouses, police stations without prosecution, but notification must be made. Julie Walker.
So we were talking about that. And I said,
Wall Street, Bakersfield girl by 334 points. The NASDAQ dropped 213.
Keith Watkins, a
More
friend of
on
mine,
these stories at townhall.com.
That was my daughter.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk gives me one more reason to feel good about switching.
I know. He plays in our golf tournament. I bet you
for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country.
You smoke
Just
weed?
dial pound 250. Say
No?
micro.
Not anymore.
With Pure Talk's
Okay.
U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10
Nice.
minutes.
Have
Again,
fun.
Dial pound 250. Say micro to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A preliminary hearing got underway on Tuesday for the two men charged for their part in a crash that killed two sisters and left a third seriously hurt over 2 years ago. Brant and Montoya are accused of chasing the sisters with a vehicle on March 4th, 2023, as they were delivering newspapers. They mistakenly believed the sisters had Brant's phone. The girl's vehicle burst into flames when it was later struck by a pickup truck. Brant and Montoya are charged with vehicular manslaughter. The California Highway Patrol is investigating a crash involving several vehicles that led to one person being trapped inside their car. It happened just before 9 o'clock last night on Panama Road and Cottonwood Road when a Toyota, a Lexus, and a Nissan SUV collided near the intersection. The victim was taken to the hospital for treatment. Deputies are on the lookout for a domestic violence suspect after they say he escaped with an armed friend. Kern County Sheriff's deputies answered a domestic violence call in the 2300 block of Center Street in Bakersfield. Investigators say the suspect fled in a car with his friend, who allegedly fired several gunshots while driving away. No one was hurt. Deputies later served search warrants on the 8300 block of Brundage Lane, but the suspect has not yet been found. The investigation is ongoing. Fire restrictions have been lifted for the Sequoia National Forest. According to the U.S. Forest Service, the cooler weather means that campfires are being allowed on the Kern River, Hume Lake, and Western Divide Ranger districts. They do ask that you check local regulations at each district and national forest that you visit. Locations, weather, and regulations vary, and check your campfire permits as they expire on December 31st each year. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour, or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think, this is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get up close like this. Little bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text
still has
661
money we have to collect.
KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Loudness. Yeah. Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Wednesday. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk with Keith Watkins, the man who's, God, I can't believe it. Man, it sucks to be old. Because I've known Keith since Buckley days. Not my Buckley High School, but Buckley Radio. And I've gone to Dodger games with him, with Big Dog.
I feel like
and he's played in our golf tournament.
Golf tournament or something.
Probably. Great guy. Another Taft guy. Taft raises some good people, Jack. I know a lot of Tafties. Jeff Lamucci, Mike Big Dog Parent, Larry Fields, former husband of Lois Henry, Keith Watkins. I know a lot of good Taft people. I really do. It's funny. I have not been out there in a long time. JR's been out there more often than I have. Buena Vista Golf Course. You got Howard?
I do.
Oh, my bad. It's a Wednesday.
Take this song to my lover.
Shoo.
Go and find my love.
Our former federal agent, Howard Marcus. How are you, Howard?
Pretty good.
Do you mind if we?
I gave it to my doctor. Got my flu shots. Of course, the arm hurts. Like, geez Louise.
Yeah, you did get your flu shot.
You're behind because the flu virus mutates from year to year.
Yeah.
They're always giving you a last year's shot.
I am staving it off. I got something going on, but I'm already on antibiotics.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Well, and I don't.
Hopefully, you keep it out of your chest.
Yeah, should I get? I was due to get my shot today, but I thought maybe I should wait until this passes. Or is that?
Wait because you might react.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, because they're really aren't they giving you the flu essentially?
Yeah, it's either I don't remember if it's dead flu virus itself. You know what I mean, but it essentially is they're giving you a really mild case of the flu.
Yeah. So I figured
you don't react to it theoretically.
Yeah, with this coming on.
No, you better wait.
Because I was just Chris says I sound worse than I did yesterday. So and
I mean I wouldn't say worse, but a little raspy.
Yeah. I sounded horrible this morning. I really did.
I think your system, either way, you get the flu shot slightly. It's just you don't need to do it when you're in a compromised state.
Yeah.
I just wait. They're going to be giving out for next couple months anyway.
Yeah. But this is the time. November, December is when I get sick. I normally get bronchitis right around this time of the year when the weather changes. But
I generally don't get sick. I very rarely do. And
yeah.
If I do, it's like the flu is like a one-day thing. Last year I didn't get the flu shot at all. Didn't get the flu, so you never know. But remember, I'm literally in Siberia. It's not like I have a lot of contact with people.
Very, very true. Very, very true. So what's going on? What do you want to talk about?
Oh, there's so many things. You know that the big news with Glock, since you have now a collector's item. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't know that. Why? What's going on?
Well, they just announced yesterday they're discontinuing production of all current Glock models, Generation 3, which is the California approved one, and then the subsequent Generation 4 and 5. They're coming out with quote unquote a new Generation 6. That nationwide, all the Glock models that you currently can buy anywhere, you won't be able to get once they're done.
Really?
And what they're doing is there's a goofy thing called a Glock switch, which is illegal to own federally, and obviously that stupid law they just passed in California. And you put it in the back of a Glock, the little panel in the back, and you can convert it to full auto until you run out of ammo. And criminals, I guess, have been using this with extended mags and turning them into submachine guns essentially.
Wow.
So Glock's redesigning it completely so it won't be able to do that. And the new design, to be honest, is better in some ways. It's modular. I won't go into a lot of boring details. It's sort of a better design. The problem is you'll never see the current models are making this new Generation 6 in California because California added all that stuff you have to do, a loaded chamber indicator, a magazine disconnect, and now they're trying to announce the micro stamping is supposedly viable, which it isn't. So you may not even be able to get the Generation 6s ever.
Oh, that's too bad.
So hold on to your Glock.
Oh, I love my Glock.
Anybody listening, go buy a Glock while you can.
Yeah, no kidding. Go out to Bear Mountain and see
Cindy at Bear Mountain.
Cindy out there. Yeah, that's where I bought mine.
Two local, Cindy at Bear Mountain and Cannon Valley, the two local people that support. And there's other ones out there. I won't say nobody else, but they've always supported the group. In fact, I remember Ken was one of the biggest contributors to Honor Flight. I don't know if you know that. He gave them in one of the early years a $10,000 check.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, I was there when he did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cindy helps us out every year as she did this year.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she is outstanding. Love her.
Oh yeah.
Love her.
Another great local business.
Miss Jean. Did you know Jean really well?
I was the last one he talked to.
No.
Yeah, I always come over. He was on the NRA committee with me, and we were friends. He and Cindy both, and he had that very rare, very aggressive kidney cancer. And when I talked to him, he was in his car, and he was on the way to the hospital. He really wasn't feeling well. And that's when he had the heart attack, got to the hospital, and passed away.
Wow, I didn't know that. He was a great guy.
He really was.
Great guy.
You know, that guy could sing.
Could he really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He had those. They had kind of the freedom festivals. I know he sang at Trouts, and he sang a couple of local venues. I think he even sang at Crystal Palace.
Wow.
Nice, mellow, light voice. It was very nice.
I never knew that. I never knew that.
He sang at some of the events they had, those kind of early patriotic events they had at Second Amendment. He was on the stage singing.
That's pretty cool.
Great guy. Really good guy. Real mild-mannered, nice guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I bought mine. I almost went with the 22.
Yeah.
But it was because it was a little smaller. But I like that I went with the 23.
Nothing wrong with it, and they're all good. You know, they've dropped
love that
a lot of that stuff before this big announcement. Even the 40s and a lot of the 45s, a lot of these other guns they had just weren't really selling. The 9s have kind of dominated the market. And then this came out of the blue. I didn't realize this was even going to happen until I heard about it, a rumor, and then yesterday confirmed it. And what it is there's so many other. I won't go into all the detail, but there's so many other firearms companies now that Glock's patents expired some years back that basically have the Glock style action. They've all jumped in the bandwagon, and their guns are current, upgrades for ergonomics and stuff. So Glock's basically catching up.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're all screwed in California. So
yeah. What do you have? What are your?
I have a couple. Well, Mary has one of. Mary has all. Mary has 3 different Glocks for different reasons. She has the 19, which is they're all 9.
Right.
She has a Glock 19 under carry permit. She has a 34, which is the ported extended version for target, and then she has the 17, which is the full size. And then I have a Glock 19 because I don't know if you know that they changed the law some years back which is really hurts couples. You cannot put your wife's firearm that's in her name on your permit. You have to have your own firearm. So people that are on a budget or elderly people or something, they have to each have their own gun. It's very silly.
That is silly.
And so I was forced to buy another gun. It was torture.
Do you have a concealed weapon permit?
I've had it for 40 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you take your gun? Like everywhere.
Everywhere that is not a federal or state. Everywhere is not barred by state or federal law.
So you go to dinner, you take it with you?
Yeah, because I very rarely drink. Because you really shouldn't be drinking when you carry.
I thought you couldn't. I thought you absolutely couldn't.
No, you're not supposed to at all. And I know some people that do that, and they say, "Look, you're going to get your permit yanked if you get stopped for any reason," and they smell alcohol on you because you're in a database. They know you carry.
Right.
It isn't worth the risk. And to be honest, if I shouldn't go on record. If a company just has a policy against it, my answer is concealed means concealed. I'm not telling. Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to carry mine after I've been drinking. Your judgment is off, and
exactly.
Who knows what could happen? No way I would carry it when I was drinking.
You get stopped with that and you're drinking, Donnie, you'll yank your permit.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's not worth losing.
Yeah.
But I've carried for over 40 years. When I got mine originally, because, being a Fed, my agency didn't have off-duty carry. And back then, it was just interview the desk sergeant. They gave you the permit on the spot.
Yeah. How do you carry it? Do you have a holster? Or do you
It depends on what I'm carrying and when and the weather. The problem with Bakersfield, how do you carry in the summer when it's 102?
Yeah.
110 or whatever, what do you carry?
Yeah.
So generally, if you're wearing cargo pants, concealable handgun, smaller version, like I have a 380, just dump it in the pocket. Otherwise, under a jacket or in a holster. It depends on what you're carrying.
Yeah.
I do not do the appendix carry. Never have. I'm not a real fan of it because something already goes wrong. Your femoral arteries are right there.
Well, what does that mean? Appendix? What does that mean?
Basically, a man will carry in a holster tucked in his pants directly over his crotch.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
like in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Guys that do it, and I just when something really goes wrong on this, you're going to be you can either bleed out or you're going to be really hurt.
Yeah.
And
is
that's
that
very common? Very common.
Is that why gangsters carry it in their back?
Well,
or is that just a movie? Is that a movie thing?
I have the holsters for that too, and that's the problem with that. It's very hard to drive when the gun's in the small of the back holster.
True that.
And it's slower to pull that way. I've even carried ankle holsters. When you have long jeans on, they're loose.
Yeah.
Because my answer is, look, if this is being a quick draw competition, I'm in real trouble.
True that.
Generally, you avoid high risk. People listening, you don't go into East Bakersfield liquor stores at 3 a.m. to cash a check. You avoid high risk bad behavior in places and kind of keep your head on a swivel. And it shouldn't be like it's not the idea that who's going to quick draw McGraw or anything.
Nothing good happens after 11 p.m.
No, and Mary carries also. She has a Glock.
Yeah. Have either one of you ever had to use it?
I have had to pull off duty several times.
Really?
Yeah, I had my immediate neighbor back in Rosedale when I was living there. The estranged boyfriend of the neighbor's daughter came in with a shotgun about 3 a.m. And I was awakened by the sound of a shotgun blast as he's blowing out the windows in her car. Her brother came running out of the house, and I drew on him with the 12 gauge. And they were Hispanic, and they're yelling at each other in Spanish, which I can order like a beer. And I came out. I told Mary, lay on the floor next to the bed, keep the bed between the wall and the bed between you. Call 911. I ran out the front door, and I had a 357 Snubby. And suddenly realized it's pitch black. He's got a 12 gauge shotgun with a spread, and I've got a Snubby 2.5-inch barrel 357 in pitch black darkness. And I didn't comprehend no Spanish. And what ended up happening is the brother talked him down. He took off. The sheriff's deputy showed up about 5 minutes later.
Wow.
And another time I had, I could have, theoretically, it would have been a wrongful shoot if I did it.
Yeah.
You know, the bad part is if it did go south, he would have killed the guy and then I would have shot him. He would have killed the brother.
Right.
And luckily it turned out right. And another time, again, off duty, we were at a place called Bright Lake in Tehachapi. And it was with a bunch of women. It was actually a dog obedience camp out, so to speak. And it was mostly women. I think there was like one or two other husbands there. And right across, it was about 20 feet away, a couple were picnicking. Well, the husband apparently was really drunk and wanted to leave, and the wife didn't want him to drive. So she took the keys and tried to walk away. And she had long hair. He grabbed her by the back of her hair, back of her neck, and threw her backwards so she couldn't break her fall to the ground. It really hurt her. And she's screaming hysterically. The women around me went berserk, trying to call 911 and get service. And unfortunately, every other man with us just disappeared.
Wow.
Pretty disappointing behavior. So I had a small back holster, like you were asking. And I went up to the guy and said, "You can't leave. The sheriff's on the way." And he was a third striker and just committed his third strike. And he knew what I had. I had my hand behind my back, and he knew exactly what that meant, and was pushing against me, trying to get me to shoot him. He said, kill me. I can't go back to jail. And it's my third strike. And remember, he's not violent to me. He wanted me to kill him.
Right.
And he pushed me backwards against my hand. It was outstretched about 20, 30, 40 feet. And I just kept backing up because, remember, it had to be a justifiable shoot.
Yeah.
He wasn't threatening me. He wanted me to kill him. And I was in deposition. And obviously they yanked him at that point, and he did go to prison. And I think on the third strike back then, it was like a 25-year sentence.
Wow. Wow.
But, and I've had a couple other incidents, but, most of the time you just try and avoid it.
Yeah.
I had another incident at a gas station. I was filling up, and a guy got real aggressive. And, it's just one of those things where the last thing you really want to do is shoot somebody, even if it's justified.
No kidding.
You get huge legal bills.
Yep.
Even if it's a good shoot, you still have to probably get an attorney.
Yeah.
The police are going to confiscate the firearm. They have to normally. They're going to arrest you.
Probably search your house.
Do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And for anybody asking, if you conceal carry, there are a variety. The NRA has some concealed carry associations that issues insurance and legal defense specifically for incidents. And I've had that for some years now.
Wow, that's crazy.
They say a good shoot, it's going to cost you minimum $10,000.
Wow, that is insane. Those
things where the family goes, he was a good boy, turning his life around.
Right.
And they sue the guy in a justified shoot for millions of dollars. Well, you got to defend yourself against that.
Yeah. Speaking of millions of dollars, there's a case that we've been talking about all week. I don't know if you've heard about this, out of Springfield, Illinois, where a pretty bad cop is going on trial for murder. He shot a woman in her kitchen. Did you see this?
I heard about it. They don't know the specifics. But
yeah, she had mental issues. She called the police herself. She thought there was a prowler. They came into her home. They talked to her for a little bit. She kind of wandered around the house, and she had a pot of boiling water on the stove, and she went to pick that up. She said, "I don't feel safe," and she picked it up, and the cop said, "If you pick that up, I'll shoot you in your effing head." And she said, I'm sorry, and kneeled down, and he shot her 3 times. And the reason I say he's a bad cop, because he has the presumption of innocence. He had 2 DUIs before he got hired by the Springfield Police Department. He got thrown out of the Army because of one of the DUIs, and he had at least 4 police disciplinary actions taken against him. Well, I know it's ridiculous to ask, because I don't know all the facts, but how do you think this thing ends up?
I think he's convicted.
You think? Yeah.
And he should. Well, every agency has, they try and screen applicants as much as they can. They have extensive psychological testing. I know people that have failed it. They went in for the wrong reasons. They basically wanted to wear a badge and gun to impress people, or they wanted to do the wrong thing. People get through the system. They're all human. And sometimes people should have been hired to begin with. They go through now these shooting review boards. They're really looking to make sure it was legitimate, because the last thing they need is either a huge judgment against the department or a bad reputation.
Yeah.
And I watch these shoots all the time. We had training on that kind of thing. And the reality of it is that you have to have immediate threat. A guy comes at you with a knife, you shoot him.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that
knife or a gun, you have carte blanche as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and if you deploy a taser, possibly. But I see these people, why don't you shoot him in the leg? Well, these guys aren't the guy's moving at you quick. You don't have time to do that.
Right.
You can say under 21 feet, a man can be on you with a knife before you can draw your firearm.
Yeah, that's nonsense. That's movie stuff. Shoot him in the arm, shoot him in the leg. That's old Western movies. That's crap.
They're trained to shoot center of mass.
Exactly.
Just the body.
Exactly.
But I think the guy gets convicted from what I heard of it. Assuming that everything that we read is legit, which I think it is.
Yeah.
This guy shouldn't have done that. You know,
No.
He wasn't supposed to be. Now, she tried to throw boiling water in his face. All bets are off.
Right.
But from what I remember, you said she was not violent. She wasn't threatening him. I don't even know why he decided he thought he was good enough to shoot her.
I don't either.
So we've had cases like that here occasionally in County.
And his partner was standing right there with his gun drawn and never fired a shot.
No, you know, you've already got the firearm out. She didn't have a knife in her hand.
No.
The pot of boiling water can be a deadly weapon. Last thing I need is boiling water in my face. But
No kidding.
To do that, and she was obviously trying to de-escalate.
Yeah, she knelt down. She wasn't,
Yeah.
I could see if she was rearing back, but, All right, I'm running real late. Always great to talk to you, Howard. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
All righty, sir.
All right, man. We'll see you. Howard Marcus. Not a lot of time before we get to the bottom of the hour. We're talking with Keith Watkins, local businessman out of Taft. Great guy. Supports our Honor Flight Open every year. I'm pretty doggone sure he won it one year. But he's got a unique story. If you're just joining us and did hear a little bit earlier, I'll let Keith tell it when he joins us after the break at the bottom of the hour. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.
Do you want to do Best Maker?
Yeah, I better.
Day edition, Clay and Buck will break down the absolute latest on the government shutdown and also all of the investigations that are currently going on. Answer the investigations into Republicans over the past several years. Our buddy Jim Jordan will be with us.
Also looking at the escalation of Trump's real war on drugs and how Venezuela plays into all of this. We'll discuss some of the major military moves coming up on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Starting to get long in the tooth. I know I am. And it concerns me. That's why about 5 years ago, maybe 6, I became a client of Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. I don't want to rely strictly on my 401k, my Social Security in the real fourth quarter of my life. That's why I invested with Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. And the great thing about doing this show is when I really believe in a sponsor, I turn other people on to them. I know Lisa in our traffic department, her husband is retiring. He's now a client. Chris Orr is now a client. Call Daniel Petrie at 395-9400, 395-9400. His office is located right on the corner of 21st and O, or just tune in on Thursdays at 4:30 when he joins us live in studio. That's not true, live via the telephone. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Inc., DBA Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The Crossroads of the West Gun Show is coming this weekend to the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield.
We're finding everything we're looking for, so we're impressed.
Awesome.
Are those the tickets we have to give away?
A lot more than I expected to see.
It's America's
Today?
premier gun show with great deals on guns, ammo, scopes, accessories, and more. Sold at wholesale prices, plus jewelry, gift ideas, and door prizes.
We'll scour through, find the best bargain, come back and buy it.
Crossroads of the West Gun Show this weekend at the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield. All sales are conducted in compliance with law. You can buy, sell, and trade at all Crossroads gun shows.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM.
I don't know if we have time for that, but maybe one.
Yeah, we can get one in here. I don't need no gun. I learned Taekwondo and Karate. Had only one encounter in 1983. No trouble after that. You are incredibly lucky.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay, tough guy. Yeah, I thought about getting a concealed weapons permit. I really did. I was going to talk to Donnie about it, particularly after I got sucker punched, and I've had a couple threats, but
I gotta lie, after hearing Howard's stories, I'm thinking about it. I need to be woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning with someone blowing out my windows with a shotgun.
well, I think you definitely have. You don't have one at your house?
Oh no, we have one. Trust me.
Yeah, you got to have one at your house. I can literally, from my sleeping position, reach my gun. It's my TV stand is 8 inches from the corner of my bed, and I sleep on the left side of my bed, and I have a shelved nightstand. My pills are on one shelf, and Michael Jordan's on the other. Quick time out. We're going to talk to Keith Watkins when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Yes, but let me give you his number just in case.
I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Treasury Secretary
Keith
Scott
Watkins,
Bessent announced
cool
new
ass
sanctions
Keith.
Wednesday against
Here he
Russia's
is. Do you
two
know him?
biggest
This is the
oil
picture, as a matter of
companies
fact.
and blasted
Them at Dodger
Moscow's
Stadium.
refusal to end its senseless
Ball.
war as U.S.-led
on the
efforts to end the war floundered, and the Ukrainian
Yeah, he's
president
played in
sought
every
more
one of our
foreign
golf tournaments.
military help. The sanctions against Rosneft and Lukoil, as well as dozens
577
of subsidiaries,
50
followed
19.
months of bipartisan
577
pressure on President
5019.
Trump to hit Russia
Give
with
him a
harder
second. He'll probably
sanctions on
call,
its
though.
oil industry. New York City's mayoral candidates are meeting for their final debate. Democratic nominee Zoran Mamdani, former Governor Andrew Cuomo, and Republican Curtis Sliwa have taken the stage for the second and last debate.
Here he is
before
with his
the
daughter
biggest
today.
city in the nation picks its next mayor. This is SRN News.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
And he said when the herd saw her
I'm
pick
Bill
up,
Robbins.
like,
Residents of Kern County woke up to rain and thunder early this morning.
he was
During
like,
the overnight hours, the offshore cutoff low moved inland
in the parking lot.
Scattered light showers.
He must have
There
hit
were
it far
reports of
further than
thunderstorms near
show
West
me.
Bakersfield.
And I forgot the
Roscoe,
Schwarberger hit
Delano,
it out.
Lake Isabella, Taft,
I forgot about that.
Storms mostly dissipated by
Isn't that
around
crazy?
9 p.m., but another round of thunderstorms is expected late this afternoon. Delano police are investigating the deaths of 2 people at a home Sunday morning as a possible murder-suicide. Officers were called to the home in the 1300 block of 7th Avenue just after 8:30 Sunday morning to investigate the 2 deaths. So far, no other information has been released. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour, or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage California can count on.
It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Agape Air. You know, when the air just isn't right, call the team that gets it done right. That's Agape Air, keeping homes comfortable for 18 years, locally owned and always professional. And who knows better than I? They serve my complex. From smart thermostat help to service requests, repairs, replacements, and preventative maintenance, Agape Air is prompt, knowledgeable, and delivers quality you can trust. Don't sweat it. Call Agape Air at 661-399-6600 today. Agape Air, comfort you can feel, service you can trust.
On the next Armstrong and Getty show, the average cost of a family's health insurance plan is now $27,000 a year. When are we going to get hold of our health care system?
Well, you add that to car insurance and homeowners insurance. How does anybody afford to live? We got an insurance problem in general. Check in on all the other big stories of the day. A couple of wars. What's Trump up to there? Next Armstrong and Getty.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
See what happened, Dave? Roger, yeah. Hit up. Okay. Okay, guys. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Just a second. We're talking about the fate of Mark Sanchez. He's back in California now, but his attorneys had a pretrial conference in Indianapolis, where the night before he was to call the Indianapolis Colts Raider game, got drunk at a bar, was seen by TMZ video sprinting in an alley. A truck driver. Well, I'll get to it in just a second, because we've got Keith Watkins on the phone, a good Taft boy. Keith, what's really going on?
Hello, Ralph. How are you?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
Good. Been a while.
I know. How you been?
Good. Doing okay. Hanging in there.
You played in our tournament last year, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, every year.
Thank you. We appreciate that. So walk us through the famous story of I can't believe I couldn't remember that it was your daughter who caught one of 7 balls that have left Dodger Stadium.
Yep. Geez, it was May of '99, the year after he hit 70. And so I've got my wife, my 2 daughters, and their 2 friends, and the Dodgers are stomping the Cardinals, and McGuire's already hit one out. I'm in a golf tournament the next day. This is a Saturday night. So they're falling asleep. They want to leave. So we're leaving. We're walking from right field towards left field, and I hear McGuire coming up. And then all of a sudden, Ralph, you hear this roar, and I look up. I see the ball in the air hit the top of the pavilion in center field, and it's coming towards me, but it's about a car length in front of me. So I'm carrying blankets and binoculars, and I'm going, it's going to bounce. I got to catch it on the bounce. Hits off my hand, rolls away and hits the tire, and my 11-year-old daughter catches it.
That is incredible.
I grab a hold of her because here comes a crowd of people.
I bet.
You got to be kidding me. And then here comes security, and they escorted us and they handled it great. But they're going, just stay here. Don't leave. Somebody's going to take the ball from you.
Right.
But and my 11-year-old, she didn't care. She's 11. But,
right.
And I don't know if you remember, you had the Chris and Ralph show, and you guys called her, I think, that Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, I do.
Like 6 in the morning. Yeah.
In the morning show back then.
But it took 15 years. He finally got McGuire. He was the hitting coach for the Dodgers, to autograph that in the Bakersfield, Californian.
I see that. Is that the picture? Who else is I see? McGuire. I didn't even see that when I first looked at it.
Yeah, McGuire was the hitting coach.
Right. And who is that to McGuire's left in the picture? And I'm going to show it to everybody on YouTube.
That was her boyfriend, Spencer Anderson. He was in the picture. And so, yeah, and McGuire was so nice. Oh, my gosh. He was amazing. You know, he wrote, I think, great catch on the ball.
Nice.
Lindsay, yeah.
And,
So he autographed it. Yeah.
Did you get it authenticated? Did you have to go through all that back in those days?
Just the picture with him signing it, because the ball's there. I think it's either in my hand.
It's in your hand, yeah.
Yeah, and then then the paper, and we had the paper framed, and still have the ball. So people were asking, "Are you going to sell that ball?" I go, "No, you don't sell that kind of baseball."
No, not for another 20 or 30 years at least.
Yeah, it's her ball. She can do what she wants with it, but I kept it till she was grown.
Yeah. Where's the ball now?
It's in my safe.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I told her it's hers. I won't do anything with it, but I'll put it in the safe.
How did you?
Yeah, it's one of 7 balls hit out of the stadium.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? And just two in the last month. That's just insane. So how did you get a hold of McGuire? How'd you? Because you're down on the field in this picture, right?
Yes. From 13 to 15, I had Dugout Club season tickets.
Yeah.
And so I contacted them and talked to them about it, and then they made arrangements and said, "No, well, we're going to get you guys on the field. We're going to get that signed."
Nice.
So yeah,
That's
Ralph, it was amazing.
That is a great picture. Well, I'm going to show it to we're on YouTube now, so I'm going to show it to all our viewers, and I'm going to post it on Facebook tonight and Instagram. It's a great picture. It really is.
Oh, nice.
All right. Oh, always good to hear from you, man. Maybe we can get Big Dog to take us to a Dodger game next season.
That's right. Plus, hey, we're going to go to lunch. He sent me a text because he heard I was going to be on the show, and he wants to go to lunch. We'll pick you up. We'll go eat lunch.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm absolutely game. I haven't seen you in a long time.
We'll have Big Dog by.
All right. Very good. Very good. Always great to talk to you, Keith. Thank you so much. And thank you for your support for the Honor Flight Open as well.
Oh, you bet. Thanks for having me on.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Keith Watkins. Let me hang on, y'all. Let me just do something real quick for the folks that are on YouTube. Please stand by. Let's see if I can show this to you real quick.
You should be able to. I'm pretty sure everybody will be able to see it pretty clearly.
You see that? Isn't that nice? That's Keith right there.
Audio viewers.
That's the daughter. Can they hear me, Chris?
Yeah, they can kind of hear you.
That's Mark McGuire, who at the time was the Dodger hitting coach, and that's his daughter Lindsay's boyfriend. And of course, on the bottom left corner is the ball. That's a great picture. It really is.
YouTube channel. Not if you're an audio listener, you're not aware of the picture he is referring to, but it is a pretty nice picture of the family.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty. I cannot count how many Dodger games I have been in my lifetime since 1971. Never come close to getting a ball. Never come close. And I used to take my glove as a kid, but you can't take your glove as an adult. I wore jerseys because I don't think adults should wear jerseys.
Disagree, but we can get behind that.
And then I got my Jackie Robinson jersey. And I'm like, I'm wearing this, Jack. I'm wearing it Friday. I'm wearing it on the show. I'm wearing it Monday. What's that? What would that be? Game 4? Friday, Saturday. I'm wearing it Monday and Tuesday, and then I won't have to wear it again. Did you hear what I just implied?
You're not going to not wear that again. You realize that.
Huh?
You're going to wear it again.
So you're saying it's impossible that we sweep the Toronto Blue Jays?
No. Again, I heard what you said. Nothing is impossible with this Dodger team. Nothing at all. I'm just saying if you're going to mush it, you'll start talking right now.
I can't. I don't know much about Toronto. I knew a lot more about Seattle, obviously with Dumper. I don't know much about about Toronto, other than Vladimir, who is hitting damn near 500 in the playoffs. We just walk his behind. We don't even deal with him.
Springer's got a good bat though too in the playoffs.
Yeah, Springer, who hurt us in 17.
Yep.
He was with the Astros. He was a Dodger killer in 17, the year they cheated us. Wouldn't it be funny if, but he doesn't know the history. He was a Padre back then, and Yoshinobu was in Japan.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be funny if
Blake put one in his ear?
just one right in his neck, for all the Dodger fans that have booed? Do they boo him the way we boo the Astro shortstop? What's his name? Altuve. Yeah. Do we boo him?
Yeah, probably.
I don't think so. I don't think Dodger fans remember him as an Astro now.
No, you know what? You're right. Now, since he's been away from the team for a couple years, it's
Yeah.
kind of easy to disassociate him.
But I remember 2017. He was part of that bunch. He's a good ball player. He really is. And he saved their behinds. Because if he doesn't hit that 3-run home run, I don't think they win. I really don't. And as we tried to tell you guys, in game 7s in the playoffs, the game 7 visiting team going into this was 7-1. They're now obviously 7-2 or 8. Wait, what am I? Yeah, 7-2. But yeah, the away team has dominated game 7s. Something to remember, because we will be on the road if in fact it goes 7. But that was really cool. He's a good guy, really good guy. And like I said, he plays in our golf tournament every year. I should have asked him if he won it, because I'm pretty sure he won it one year. Let's go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the fate of Mark Sanchez. SC quarterback, played for the Eagles, the Cowboys, and took New York Jets to 2 consecutive AFC championships. Couldn't get him over the hump. But his initial career, he looked like perhaps a Hall of Famer. And then it slowly declined, and then there was the butt fumble, but then he made a nice transition into broadcasting and had a really nice career with Fox. Well, now he's facing possibly 1 to 6 years in prison, a career that's in tatters, a civil lawsuit against he and Fox. So Fox obviously doesn't want to have anything to do with him. And Craig Melvin, the co-host of the Today Show, had the audacity to ask the reporter that covered the story this morning on the Today Show, what about his broadcasting career? Craig, dude's about to be a felon. Career? Shoot. He's going to live off that NFL pension is what he's going to do after he gets out of prison. I don't know. You think he goes to prison?
I don't know. They'll probably hit him with a hefty fine and some service. But I'm also thinking, do they pull the pension if you go to prison?
That's a good question. Do felons get a pension?
Because I don't think like Ray Rice is getting a pension.
No? How you know?
Well, no, again, I don't. But like, if I'm the NFL, I don't know if I'm paying him a pension.
Who do we ask that to? Who would we ask that about? Maybe ask Mike Arier about that.
Yeah, I was just about to say Arier probably be the best bet.
Or maybe Petrie?
There's got to be a clause in there that says if you get in trouble or something that it like voids your pension or something.
Petrie might be able to ask us that. Like if you have a government pension and you could get a felony, do they take it away?
That's a good question too.
Yeah, we'll ask Petrie and I'll ask Mike. And if he has an answer, we'll get him on the show tomorrow. I'll call him tonight. Quick timeout. Coming right back. We'll talk about Sanchez. Then at 5 o'clock, you got to stay tuned for this. We're going to talk to the head and the assistant head of the Department of Human Services, Lito Murillo and Maria Bermudez. This is in the wake of the death of 8-year-old Genesis Mata and the recent hiring of a San Diego group to do an outside consulting on child protective services. The obvious question, why is that needed? Is there a problem? Because there clearly is. We'll talk with them at the top of the hour. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. And we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, not only do we get to talk mental health with our friend Dr. Corey Gonzalez, but there is just a ton of heist-related news. Plus, all the regular news and traffic and weather, it's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live on the World Wide Webs at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
When your business technology breaks down, you need help fast, and you need it from the people who understand your local market. That's one of the main reasons we've teamed up with Adaptive Networks, because we have a unique business. Because when our IT goes down, you hear nothing, dead air, and we're dead. Adaptive Networks isn't some faceless call center in another state. They're right here in our community, with local technicians who know Kern County businesses inside and out. And while other IT companies make you wait hours or even days for support, we just can't afford that. Adaptive Networks delivers lightning fast response times. We're talking minutes, not hours, because when your systems are down, every minute counts. Their team doesn't just fix your problem quickly. They treat you like the neighbor you are. Real people, real solutions, real results. Call Adaptive Networks today, 661-241-0638, or visit adaptive-net.com. Adaptive Networks, your local IT experts, always here when you need them.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
True.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for
And you
instance,
can't.
they're supporting
You can't touch it.
Canines for Warriors.
Can't touch a man's
terrific
pension.
organization that trains.
That's what
rescue
Lori.
dogs
Lori. That's when I
and then
found that
pairs
out.
them
Lori
up
was
with
Lori was
combat
divorcing.
veterans
I was just talking about
struggling
it.
with
When Lori was
PTSD.
divorcing the
The
CHP
result?
guy.
They're
who
saving
fucking-
lives on both.
This is why
ends
she
of the league.
disrespected him. She said
This
she
is why I
thought he was
switched to
a
Pure
scumbag.
Talk. I like
The
being
year
in
before he
business
retired, he
with
was
an
a sergeant
American
his whole
wireless
career,
company who shares my
checking
values.
tires out at the
Yeah,
grapevine.
I appreciate
And the
unlimited
year
talk,
before he
text,
was-
and plenty of
he
5G data for
retired,
$25
he
a
took the
month.
captain's test
And I
and
bet
became
you will
captain
too.
for like 6
But I
months.
think you'll really appreciate
So instead
doing
of getting
business with a
150 grand
company
a year,
who
he's
gives
getting
back to the
180
men
grand
and
a
women
year.
who
He became
volunteer to
captain and
defend our
retired.
country. Just
She
dial
just,
pound
for some reason,
250.
hated
Say
that.
micro.
And
With Pure
so
Talk's
they
U.S.
had some
customer
property
service team, you
together.
can switch in as little as
And it
10
was
minutes.
hers coming
Again,
into the
dial pound
marriage, but
250.
you have
say
the
micro.
community. You
to
have
switch to an
you still
American
have to
wireless
split it.
company who actually stands
And
for
she
something.
said, "All right, I'll split it with
The
you,
Charlie Kirk
and I'm going to
Show,
go after your
weekdays
pension."
at 6 p.m.
And he was like,
on News Talk
"Keep it.
96.1
Just don't touch my
and
pension."
1180 KERN. Now, back to
Yeah,
the Ralph
180
Bailey
grand
Show.
for the rest of your life. Eight 842-5376, 842-KER. No. You forget how many hits Gladys Knight and the Pips had. They were really a prolific little group there out of Atlanta, Georgia. I haven't heard what's going on with her lately. It wasn't good. Her son, she kind of had to distance herself from her son, because the last I heard, her son was running her restaurant, which was really successful in Atlanta. And then they discovered he was selling drugs out of the damn restaurant. You know, isn't it good enough that you're Gladys Knight's son and she's got a successful restaurant, but that cheap, easy money, man, is alluring. It really, really is. Meantime, everybody's trying to figure out what is going on with Mark Sanchez, as we talked about, as I'm sure many of you have already heard. The night of the morning of the Raider Colts game, how many weeks has it been now? About a month?
Oh, it hasn't been that long. I think maybe 3
Just
weeks.
a couple of weeks, yeah. Sanchez was supposed to call the game, which shows you there had to be an issue with Mark going on. I don't know. He's married. He's got, I think, 3 or 4 kids, lives in Los Angeles, had a great career, but you're out drinking literally 12 hours before you call a National Football League game. Just seems bizarre. And not just drinking, not having cocktails, but he was, I can't use the word phrase I use, but crap face is the term I use. He was out of his mind doing sprints in an alley behind the bar. And that's where he came in contact with the truck driver and was upset at where the truck driver had parked. I don't know whether it was because of the sprints that he was doing. And TMZ, which is the best entertainment journalism organization on the planet, I don't know how they do what they do. I think mostly it's with money, but because they don't have journalistic standards, they're like the National Enquirer on television, but it's backed up by solid journalism. Because Harvey Levin, as most of you know, because he was on one of those judge shows, it was an attorney, and he's taught all those young kids that come on the show. Because I used to love the show. Did you ever watch the show?
Oh yeah,
the show was hilarious.
I still watch it from time to time if I can.
How?
It's on basic cable sometimes. I just like if I roll past it, see it's on like early in the morning.
Because it used to be on like 58 or something.
Yeah.
At like 11 o'clock at night, and now it's gone.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it since, but I'm pretty sure I've seen reruns or something of that nature.
Yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Harvey Levin has a show called TMZ where he sends out these young kids. They're now probably in their late 30s, but when the show first started, they were in their late 20s, early 30s, and they go out with a phone. And I don't know how they know where these celebrities are going to be, but they wait for them at LAX and at posh restaurants in Beverly Hills and throughout Los Angeles. And back in the day when they first started, the celebrities would be, like, I don't want to talk. They wouldn't talk, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, did you watch it back in the day when celebrities used to be like, no, I don't want to talk? And then all of a sudden it just switched where they started now engaging with the reporters, because I think the show got lighter. They wouldn't ask like real, like, why are you cheating on your wife? They would ask like, what's going on in your career? And they could use that as almost a commercial. And they go all around Los Angeles, and then they come back in studio and they talk about the audio, and kids are kind of funny, and Harvey's kind of funny. And who's the brother that's the co-host with the dreads? I can't remember. But anyway, there's a brother who's one of the hosts, and they've expanded it now into TMZ Sports, and it's very, very successful. And they get audio and video that nobody else can get. Again, I think they do it with money. Charles, yeah, really cool guy. And they have video of not only Sanchez wandering around in a drunken stupor before the encounter, but they have video of Sanchez after he'd been knifed. And you can see he's wearing a T-shirt, and you can see, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, like you watch these Hollywood movies and you think somebody gets stabbed and there's like a little stain. No, you bleed out. And he's wearing a T-shirt, and half the T-shirt is soaked. And he's holding the wound as he stumbles back into the bar, where they saved his life by calling paramedics and getting to a hospital. I mean, he could have easily bled out and died easily. And now they had a pretrial hearing. The trial is now set for December, but he's in big trouble, because if you've seen the picture of the victim, the 69-year-old man who he got into a row with, he jumped into his truck and fought this guy, and somehow the man was lacerated across the face, and it caught his tongue. He can barely talk. He's been permanently damaged, and Sanchez is now facing 4 counts. 1 count of battery resulting in injury, that's a misdemeanor. Unauthorized entry into a motor vehicle, that's where he jumped into the truck to attack the man. Public intoxication and battery resulting in injury, that one is a level 5 felony. And according to experts, he's facing up to 1 to 6 years with an advisory period of a minimum of 3 years in prison. And as I mentioned, he's facing a massive civil suit that even if he's found not guilty, as most of you know, the level of proof in a civil suit is much lower than in a criminal action. So he's going to have to pay this man. And of course, their smart attorneys are going after deep pockets and have sued Fox, which makes him an absolute pariah in the broadcasting. So Melvin's question this morning on the Today Show, what's the future of his broadcasting career? I just thought was a silly question. And if you're going to ask that, I think you have to ask that like his career is over, right? I mean, how a guy that's doing a national television show thinks that you can assault a man and lacerate his face and permanently damage him and still have a gig. I'm shocked. And the civil suit states that the client, the 69-year-old man, suffered severe permanent disfigurement. That's the issue. That's money. When you're permanent, like if I had broken my jaw. In fact, it's funny. One of my attorney friends, jokingly, it was a bad joke, but he said, "It's too bad, Ralph. When I got punched in the face twice, he didn't permanently disturb your mouth where you couldn't talk, ruining your career, because you could have got millions from him." And I was like, that boy didn't have a pot to go to the bathroom in. But once you're permanently figured, ooh, that settlement figure goes up, up, up. Severe permanent disfigurement, loss of function, and emotional distress. If that ain't a seven-figure civil suit, I don't know what is. Headed into the final hour of the broadcast, the head of the Department of Human Services, Lito Murillo, and his second in command, Maria Bermudez, will join us next. This in the wake of them hiring an outside firm to look at child protective services. This in the wake of the death of 8-year-old Genesis Mata. Boy, howdy, I'd stick around for this.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM.
So what?
Online at KERNradio.com.
I don't know how they're trying to do this.
News this hour from Town Hall.
Don't
I'm
know.
Keith Peters in Washington.
All right.
The U.S. strikes another boat it says was carrying illegal drugs.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announcing on his social media that the strike took place Tuesday night in the eastern Pacific Ocean. The other 7 strikes were all in the Caribbean, marking an expansion of the Trump administration's campaign against drug trafficking in South America. Hegseth posting a video of what looks like a speedboat with 3 outboard motors carrying several black-clad packages speeding through the water. Then the strike occurs. There's no sound, but you see an explosion, smoke and flames, debris, and the video ends. I'm Julie Walker.
The government is in its 22nd day of shutdown, and there's no end in sight. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says Democrat leaders are being swayed by the radicals.
They want, the Democrats that is, far left progressive activists, be less mad at them. I mean, that's really what we're talking about here. So I just think in the end, it's a simple choice for them, and they can get the government back open, or they can choose to keep letting the far left call the shots.
Senator Thune made his comments to the Salem Radio Network. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced new sanctions Wednesday against Russia's 2 biggest oil companies and blasted Moscow's refusal to end its senseless war. As U.S.-led efforts to end the war floundered and the Ukrainian president sought more foreign military help. The sanctions against Rosneft and Lukoil, as well as dozens of subsidiaries, follow months of bipartisan pressure on President Trump to hit Russia with harder sanctions on its oil industry. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 334 points, the Nasdaq dropped 213. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you have an IRA or 401k, this is a message you really need to hear. In just the last 2 years, the price of 1 troy ounce of silver has more than doubled, and silver is now poised for major gains in the months ahead. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741-GOLD to learn how to convert a portion of your retirement assets into physical silver and position yourself for the next wave of growth in precious metals. It's not too late to leverage the power of silver to help secure your financial future. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-741-GOLD.
Nick's Cleveland.
Cider. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family. But my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife, and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A preliminary hearing got underway on Tuesday for the 2 men charged for their part in a crash that killed 2 sisters and left a third seriously hurt over 2 years ago. Brant and Montoya are accused of chasing the sisters with a vehicle on March 4th, 2023, as they were delivering newspapers. They mistakenly believed the sisters had Brant's phone. The girl's vehicle burst into flames when it was later struck by a pickup truck. Brant and Montoya are charged with vehicular manslaughter. The California Highway Patrol is investigating a crash involving several vehicles that led to one person being trapped inside their car. It happened just before 9 o'clock last night on Panama Road and Cottonwood Road when a Toyota, a Lexus, and a Nissan SUV collided near the intersection. The victim was taken to the hospital for treatment. Deputies are on the lookout for a domestic violence suspect after they say he escaped with an armed friend. Kern County Sheriff's deputies answered a domestic violence call in the 2300 block of Center Street in Bakersfield. Investigators say the suspect fled in a car with his friend, who allegedly fired several gunshots while driving away. No one was hurt. Deputies later served search warrants on the 8300 block of Brundage Lane, but the suspect has not yet been found. The investigation is ongoing. Fire restrictions have been lifted for the Sequoia National Forest. According to the U.S. Forest Service, the cooler weather means that campfires are being allowed on the Kern River, Hume Lake, and Western Divide Ranger districts. They do ask that you check local regulations at each district and national forest that you visit. Locations, weather, and regulations vary, and check your campfire permits as they expire on December 31st each year. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour, or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Little bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 22nd day of October. We still got lots to do. Have a little fun at the bottom of the hour. DoorDash has come out with their top 10 list of favorite Halloween candies. Talk about that. And I got some other miscellaneous news and notes to get to before we get out of here. And I had intended to replay our Mark Langell interview. We talked with the Dodger historian earlier in the day, but we have bigger fish to fry because the Public Health Department came out today with their child health report, and a decision has been made by the Department of Human Services on a group that will do an external examination of our child services. And joining us is the head of the Department of Human Services, Lito Murillo, and his second in command, Maria Bermudez. Maria, is that an accurate description of your title, or is there a more formal title?
I am the assistant director and I oversee the Child Protective Services Bureau.
So that's second in command, no? Okay.
Pretty close. As close as you can get.
All right, nevertheless. So you all have hired an outside agency to take a look at child welfare, correct?
That's correct.
And tell us, SPI, tell us a little bit about this organization.
Absolutely. So thanks for having us on. Social Policy Institute, or SPI, is actually out of San Diego State University. We actually went through a process where we interviewed and met with 3 other organizations, and we really felt comfortable with SPI's level of expertise and knowledge, and they have a great deal of experience of doing these types of reviews nationally in California, and they've done these types of reviews obviously in San Diego, Ventura, and more closely to us, Tulare.
Yeah. I'm reading from past stories, and I think this is a direct quote from you, Mr. Murillo. The goal is to identify best practices, uncover systematic gaps and challenges, and provide recommendations to strengthen the department. Are there systematic gaps with our Child Protective Services?
You know, I'd like to think that we are running everything perfectly, but obviously that's not the case, and we need to evaluate certain areas that we can improve on, whether we can improve on service delivery, response times, accuracy, whatever. I think it's important to keep that in mind, that improvement is our key, and trying to really identify those things so that way we have better outcomes.
We haven't had such an examination since 2006. Why so long?
That's a very good question. I think, like you said, the last time this audit was done here in this department was by California Welfare League Association, and that was done in 2006. And really, we have our own quality assurance unit that looks over things and protocols and policies, but we really felt that we needed a more global perspective, and we needed outside eyes to really evaluate our system, so that way we could really get a good perspective, an outside perspective in terms of what we need to improve on.
Many people believe that this was spurred by the folks that showed up at the Board of Supervisors meeting, the 4,000 signatures that were gathered, screaming for some type of review, this all in the wake of Genesis Mata being found in a tub, tortured to death at the age of 8. Walk me through how Genesis Mata happens. Because wasn't there a case opened in that situation?
Yeah, I can't talk specifically about that case. Obviously, it's still currently being investigated, and there's a court hearing, court trial that goes along with that. But in terms of just your overall question, this review, and we completely understand that the community had questions and wanted this review as well, fully aware of the number of petitioners that wanted this review as well. And going back to your original statement, why so long? It's just one of those things that sometimes these kinds of incidents present themselves where it gives you an opportunity to say, you know, it is time for us to do a review to see how we can improve. So the timing of it all is really more important in terms of just time for a review, time to look at our process and protocols to make sure we're running as effectively and as efficiently as possible.
Talking with the head of the Department of Human Services, Lito Murillo, and Maria Bermudez, obviously we all understand you can't talk specifically about the Mata case, but walk us through the process. What happens when someone contacts you and says Ralph Bailey's children are being abused? Walk us through what occurs.
So when a call comes into our 24-hour hotline, we assess it, and based on penal code and welfare and institution code, we assess it, and based on that, if it's going to require an in-person response, if it will be cross-reported to law enforcement, or if the family is just need of resources, because we get all kinds of calls that come into the hotline.
I'm speaking specifically of abuse.
So abuse, yes, we assess it based on the allegations, the information provided as the reporting party. We look at past history. We look, and then there is an assessment tool that we use, and then that drives our decision based on how we will proceed. Who
makes the assessment, and what happens after that? And who are these people that make the assessment? Do they have college degrees? Do they have training in dealing with this kind of thing? Who are they?
Social workers. So social workers that are employed, they answer the calls, they do the screening, they are at minimum bachelor level. They receive training in the tool, training in child welfare. They're journey level social workers that have more than 2 years with the department in child welfare, and they have been trained on the tool, but on risk, on safety, on child well-being, on community resources, on engagement. So there's extensive training that goes into someone being employed and answering the call and assessing for abuse and neglect.
And then, once, let's say they determine there's something wrong.
If there's determined there's something wrong, then we go out and we do an in-person investigation.
Okay, let me stop you right there. So you're telling me the initial social worker has no contact in the home?
The hotline is the hotline social worker receives the call. Then that is then based on the information given to a social worker that goes out and does the investigation.
Does it always go up, or can it stop with that assessment?
Based on there's times that not all referrals are investigated for an in-person response.
How many folks do you have doing that? And how many typical cases do they have? Are we understaffed? Is that part of the problem?
I will tell you that we are currently fully staffed in the hotline. And the hotline, I would have to look at my numbers again, but I would say they're just screeners. They're not going out into the community and doing the in-person investigations, because that's their full-time role, is to do these assessments.
And how many of there are there?
I would say about, I'd have to look at my numbers, but I'd say about 10 to 15. Plus there's 2 supervisors that are also that work directly with the screeners, that are continually staffing those calls that come in with the social workers.
Is that typical for a county our size?
Yes, I would say so.
And then it goes up. How many of those, who does it go up to next?
So it'll be assigned to a social worker. We have social workers throughout the county of Kern. So they're social workers in, Mojave, Ridgecrest. So based on the location, based on by the zip code, then we assign to an investigating social worker that will make contact with the family.
So again, I think the question everybody wants to know, actually, and I know you can't speak specifically about that case, the Genesis Mata case, but how does something like that happen?
Well, I think that's a huge hypothetical to say, how does something like that happen? I think, based on the information, child welfare goes out and they investigate to the best of their experience, the knowledge, the information given to us by mandated reporters, by the family, during the interview, by collateral contacts, and we make assessments. But also there are times that we don't know about abuse that's going on because they don't get called in, and it happens after the fact.
Yeah.
So there's some times that it's not called in. So that's something that we've really been pushing, is we really do depend on the community to make these reports.
Yeah.
And giving us all the information, even if the reporting party that's calling doesn't think it's important. No, every bit of information is important, because it could be something that they say that doesn't seem important, but we might have received information a year ago or 2 years ago, or we get another referral, and then we can piece the story together. So then we know how to locate the family, investigate, etc. So all information that we get from the community is so valuable to us and so important, so that we can assess appropriately.
So neither one of you believe that you're short-staffed?
Yeah, I think obviously additional staff always helps. I don't begin to tell you that we're perfectly staffed or we're exactly where we need to be. Additional staff helps in every regard that we have in terms of operations here at the department.
Isn't it true a grand jury report pointed to staff shortages, limited funding, and delays in Child Protective Services responses?
That's correct. That is what the grand jury report indicated, and really what we've done over the last couple of years is fill vacancies to our best of our ability. I could honestly tell you that our vacancy rates were as high as 22%, and now they're as low as 10%, so literally half. And it fluctuates obviously, but nevertheless, we've really done a good job trying to fill vacancies, and we're still continuing to fill vacancies. Additional staff, I would never turn that down, but that's something we have to do within the confines of our respective budgets.
The Public Health Department reported that 128 children died in 2024. The coroner's office reported that 47 of those could have been prevented. Do you have any idea how many of those 47 may have been involved, or even the 128 that were involved with abuse?
Those, those were really deemed, based on that report, were accidental. Those were not all coming from abuse or neglect. So I can't say for certain, but I can say that the majority were from accidental deaths. And when they say preventable, it could be co-sleeping with swimming accidents, not having a pool fence around a swimming pool, not a child being left alone in a bathtub. So that's what is categorized in that report as preventable.
Yeah. Talking with the head of the Department of Human Services, Lito Murillo and Maria Bermudez. So what are these? You said that the first assessment is made by social workers?
Yes, every call that comes in to our 24-hour hotline is screened by a trained social worker.
Okay, so what are they looking for in the conversation or in a report that would make them take it to a higher level as opposed to saying, there's nothing to see here?
Well, we look at the risk, the child's age, we look at the child's developmental, we look at safety, the information, like if they're saying there's no electricity in the home, there's no food in the home, there's marks on a child, we're looking at numerous things, risk and safety. We're looking at various variables there's just numerous things.
And what is SPI going to do? What are they looking at? And when can we expect a report? When will they start working?
So the Social Policy Institute, we have not gone into contract with yet. That's still in progress. Our goal is, we want to be very ambitious so that we can get this information as well as be as transparent to the community as possible. So we're hoping by November, with a 6-month turnaround with preliminary recommendations, that we will move forward with and present to the Board of Supervisors.
Any idea how long the process is going to take once they get to work?
We've given them 6 months. So by May, we should have the recommendations, May, June, presented to the Board of Supervisors.
Yeah. You two have to be aware that the Department of Human Services right now, and Child Protective Services, has somewhat of a black eye in this community. What kind of grade would you give yourselves?
I will say that our staff are very dedicated, very passionate, and I'll say for my staff, they're an A. They are very passionate. They work 24 hours a day. They go through numerous training. Yes, it's a very difficult job with a lot of trauma themselves that they see. But I will say the staff, the social workers in Kern County, I would grade them as an A. And I will say, though, that there's always room for improvement.
That's what I was about to say, because I was afraid you were going to say that. Because to claim that you are an A means there's no need for an external review and there's no need for any improvement. So it's impossible for it to be an A. Am I right about that, or am I wrong?
So, no, Ralph, you make a lot of great sense. I mean, obviously, we understand that there's a black eye in terms of CPS in this community. And one of the things that we're really trying to look for in SPI doing this external review is an outside party looking in to evaluate, again, our protocols, our policies, our procedures. I just want to piggyback on what Maria is saying. We have a large amount of staff that do such a difficult task and work in this community, a task that a lot of community members would not even consider doing. I think the challenge that they're faced with when they go into these homes, a lot of them with domestic violence, substance abuse, past histories, are all things that we have to work with to, one, ensure that the children are safe, and obviously evaluate to make sure that, one, we can continue to keep them in the home or not, and obviously remove accordingly. And that's a challenging job. We're either looked upon as being very heavy-handed or not heavy-handed enough. And I can tell you that we get complaints on both sides of the aisle.
Sure.
In terms of how we operate. But our social workers do a tremendous job. I think it's just a challenge because of the type of work that they do and the expectation. And if you think about, whether it's law enforcement or anything else, preventing child abuse is one of the most difficult things you can possibly imagine in terms of a job. And when you start trying to go into a home with a whole assortment of social, economical issues, it's really challenging to say, okay, well, it's not safe, or it is safe, and then hope and pray that everything works out based on the decision you made. And that's, if you can imagine what that magnitude of that decision has on a particular employee or social worker, you can really gauge the challenge of that social worker.
Yeah, I'm more worried about the kids personally more than the social workers. Sure. Do you have any idea how many cases you do a week or a month? And why not just respond to every single call? Why not have a casual visit to any home? Because to me, if it gets to the point where somebody in the family or a friend or a neighbor is calling you, there's a problem. Why not just have a casual visit to every single call in every single home?
Well, I will say that there's penal codes and child welfare institution codes that drive that. We are not allowed by law just to go out to a home if it does not meet the legal definition for an in-person response.
And what is that? The legal definition. What's the criteria?
Well, it's under the penal code and the welfare and institution. There's various codes. But what I will share is that legally we cannot go out to a home just to say we want to just visit and offer to have a chat. It's illegal.
So then what is the criteria? When can you go into a home?
Well, that information, I mean, it's driven by the penal code and the child welfare institutions codes. There's various codes that drive that. It's not just one, or it's various different codes.
You can't share any of them with us?
Well, you talk about things like physical abuse, sexual abuse. Those are things we'll obviously go out on. General neglect, depending on what the referrals entailing, we may not, and we may refer to a community resource.
There's emotional abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, severe abuse, medical neglect, general neglect. So there's even everything. We also human trafficking. So we look into. So those are some of them.
Wow, I'm still confused. Will we ever know what happened to Genesis Mata and why she seemingly fell through the cracks?
That's a good question. I can't answer that specifically. I know that the court trial will begin here soon. I'm fairly certain other information will be obviously released at that point, and I think a clearer picture will be presented at that point.
I'll leave you both with this. I appreciate you taking the time. How much, do we have any idea what SPI is going to cost the county?
We're still in negotiation at this point. Obviously, I don't have that figure for you, but we are obviously conscious of the cost of it in terms of the cost of the county.
So it's not even in stone that they'll be coming to Kern County?
Well, we selected them. We're working through those negotiations. We're working through the final scope of work, and obviously we'll have an agreement to the board early part of November.
What if they're asking for millions and millions of dollars?
They're not asking for millions and millions of dollars. We're obviously working on a figure. I just can't disclose that.
All right, very good. Appreciate you both taking the time and coming on the program. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate it, okay?
take care. Let's go ahead and take a break. What, will we have any time?
No, that's what I'm saying. You're gonna have to
Just
burn
go to
through
the
this.
bottom. So I should have just held them on to the bottom of the hour.
Yeah, for a little bit, but
Well, a lot of people have tough jobs. And if you don't like it, and you can't do it, then go sell shoes. I don't want to hear what a tough job it is. Because every cop, every nurse, every doctor, hell, every radio talk show host could cry about how difficult their job is. And I hope I was fair. But like I said at the top of the show, I'm angry. I think we should all be angry. And I think the process is flawed. And I almost fell out of this chair when she said, I give us an A. How is that possible? If one child dies in a year, that is an imperfect year. When you hear what happened to Genesis Mata and the fact that they looked into it and it still occurred, somebody's got to be responsible for that. Certainly the parents will be, and they're going to prison for a very, very long time, if you ask me. But the fact that it's been since 2006 since this place has been probed, the idea that these kind of things are happening, and I think it's ridiculous to claim that it wasn't you all that prompted this examination. And that's what's important, that you all caused this. And when there are issues like this, we have to stand up. And we have to go to the supervisor's meeting. We have to go to the city council's meeting. We got to bang the cage because that's why they're examining this. Had it not been for you, in my opinion, maybe this is unfair, but it had not have been for you all and the 4,000 signatures and the adamant cries at the supervisor's meeting, there's no way in hell they go through this examination. No way in hell. That's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. But I got to check every 2 weeks to make such speculation. And I suspect, had you all not banged the cage, they'd have never looked at this place. It's been, 19 years since they've done it? Give me a break. And I feel for them because I've been told by several supervisors that he's a good guy. And so is Mr. Bermudez. It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal. I've never met either one of them. They seem very cordial and very nice. But to claim that they are an A, no, absolutely not. Quick timeout. Final half hour of the program.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
That was pretty good, huh? Was I fair? Yeah.
Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump's
Did I
administration
what?
announced new sanctions
You almost gave me
Russia's
the
oil industry aimed at moving President Vladimir Putin to the negotiating table. Putin continues to frustrate the U.S. administration's efforts to bring an end to Moscow's brutal war in Ukraine. The sanctions unveiled Wednesday against oil giants Rosneft and Lukoil followed months of calls from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, as well as bipartisan pressure on Trump to hit Russia with harder sanctions. Tropical storm Melissa has dumped heavy rain on parts of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Forecasters warn of a significant flood risk in the northern Caribbean. On Wednesday, the slow-moving storm was about 320 miles south-southwest of Port-au-Prince, Haiti. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. The California Highway Patrol is investigating a crash involving several vehicles that led to one person being trapped inside their car. It happened just before 9 o'clock last night on Panama Road and Cottonwood Road when a Toyota, a Lexus, and a Nissan SUV collided near the intersection. The victim was taken to the hospital for treatment. Fire restrictions have been lifted for the Sequoia National Forest. According to the U.S. Forest Service, the cooler weather means that campfires are being allowed on the Kern River, Hume Lake, and Western Divide Ranger districts. They do ask that you check local regulations at each district and national forest that you visit and check your campfire permits as they expire on December 31st each year. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment
really
period
going
ends
on?
December 7th. So go to uhc.com
You see the
/Medicare
Lakers shit the
today.
bed last night?
United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage California can count on.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries.
They're not a
here
second
in
half
Kern
team.
County.
Oh, you mean
If
second
you
half
are
of the
eligible
season?
for Medicare and looking for a doctor.
Well, yeah, they
who
got to
listens
get
and cares
a little
about
man
you with
back.
Minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations.
Like
It's
not
time
for a
to
while. I
learn
heard
about
like
Qualcare
November.
IPA. Qualcare IPA contracts
Sciatica
with most
is
Medicare
back.
Advantage health plans and provides you with
Yeah, I
access
was just about to
a
say, he
large
old.
network
That's
of
what he got.
outstanding
He old.
doctors and quality hospitals right here
He
in Kern
old.
County. Medicare Advantage health
Yep.
plans go beyond original Medicare benefits coverage.
God, this
And
thing's on
understanding these
73 and it
coverage
is
differences may be
freezing in this
confusing.
hallway.
Call us today at 661-554-4544. Let us help you understand your healthcare options for 2025.
New York is
Call
thumping
today.
Cleveland. What has happened to
661-554-4544. That's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special
Did New
needs
York
and
get any
fees,
better?
call
They add anybody?
661-554-4544 TTY 711.
I know, that's so
Are you looking for a hospital
That dude
truly
got them
cares
as
for your
far
health
as
and
they've been
well-being?
in
At Good Samaritan
20
Hospital,
years.
they provide high-quality
And they
medical detox,
fire him.
psychiatric services, and medical
Who
and surgical
hasn't
care.
been in the
They
same
accept
job
most
for 3
insurances,
years in his whole
including
career?
Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's
Wasn't he a
longest
Laker coach in a
standing
minute?
inpatient detox program with
For
dual
like 2
diagnosis
years.
that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on
Yeah.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KER.
Speak, and somebody said, good job. I guess you're talking to me. Let's see what everybody's talking about on the board. What do you got?
This first one just says, Ralph, what a great interview. I don't know what the requirements are for Pulitzer, but that was great.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's just, it's a two-edged sword because it is a ridiculously hard job. I know a social worker, and she's pulling her hair out of her head. The number of cases, and I should have got into that too. I forgot about that. I should have asked typically how many cases does each caseworker have, because that's exactly, that's part of the problem.
That's why I couldn't understand why they didn't agree or at least say that they were understaffed, because I know for a fact y'all have way too many cases on a lot of these people.
And the grand jury reported that, and they're completely, they don't have a axe to grind like I do, because I'm angry about all this. But that's exactly what the grand jury reported. And so now we're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on some company out of San Diego to tell us how to run our child protective services. And I don't understand why we have people in this job if we've got to go to San Diego to tell us how to do the job. And again, as I've talked about, I have reliable sources who tell me Mr. Murillo is a very nice man, Ms. Bermuda is a very nice woman, but and I should have asked that question. Why then, if we're in A, as she described, are we going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to have somebody outside of Kern County who doesn't understand Kern County and the different demographics and the racial makeup and all of this, come in from San Diego to tell us what to do. It's so sad. It's so sad. The most vulnerable, and we can't protect them. Just don't make any sense. What else you got?
The NFL still pays out pensions even during prison. O.J. Simpson received his NFL pension up to the day he died.
That's right. And you can't touch it either. The Browns or the Goldmans could not. They could go after. Well, they never really got any money. I think the Goldmans ended up with this Heisman or something. I don't know. But you can't touch a man's pension. I was telling Chris the story of a person that I know. I'm not going to name any names or tell you how I know them. But they were divorcing, and he worked for law enforcement and had a law enforcement pension, and they owned property together that was hers, but it was community property, but it was her family's property, and he was going to go, he wanted to split that, and she was like, no, that's my family's property, and his attorney was like, tough, we're splitting it, and she said, okay, then we'll be splitting that pension. And in private negotiations, he was like, keep the apartments. Don't mess with my pension. So yeah, because it's for life. Can you imagine getting a check for life? You know, if they had told us that kind of stuff when we were kids, why don't we tell people that, like in high school and college, that firemen get lifetime pensions and many of them retire at 50. We have 3 police chiefs who retired with a pension for the rest of their life, and all 3 of them retired before they were 60. Hell, had I known that in 10th grade, maybe I'd have got a pair of gonads and become a cop or become a fire. I don't know if I could be a fireman.
Yeah, being a fireman is a whole.
That's a whole, they do nothing, and then they're in hell. You know what I'm saying?
For like 3 weeks straight.
Yeah, and it doesn't even matter if it happens here or in LA County, because they summon firemen from all over the state. I just couldn't do it. The only thing about firemen I don't understand is why they have to live at the station. I don't understand that.
I think it's just like you got to get there right now kind of a thing.
You could have your equipment and all your stuff at the house, and they could all have. I'd rather pay them to have a little SUV at their homes and just all meet at the
fire station.
Meet at the fire station, or meet at the fire for that matter. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about. What else you got?
Ralph, you can't catch a foul ball sitting behind home plate with the Stars.
True that. That is the one. But I'm gone. I went to 2 games last season. I went with one with Chet, and we were out there on the first base side. And one did kind of go over our head, but you're right. With our seats, it would have to be our seats. Listen to me. Our seats with Michael Parrott's seats. It would have to be like straight up and straight down, because we are literally 6 rows from the fence. So you're right. It's kind of difficult. We don't get too many over there. It'd have to be a ricochet maybe from behind us, but you're right. But I'm talking about my whole life, though. I've been going to Dodger Stadium since 1971. I told you the story when I was in 5th grade, our first Dodger game. And you know, what do they call those things that they use so people won't run into stuff? The pillars. And I remember in 5th grade, I could not jump over the pillar. I wasn't big enough. And I don't know why I'm telling this story. It's boring as hell. But the next season, in 6th grade, I could jump over it. I remember screaming at my dad, "Hey, Dad, watch this." And I could jump over it. And this is when the Bailey myth began. That was the first time my mother said, "Baby, I told you you're going to be tall. My brother's tall. My mother was 5'11", and my daddy was 6'5". Baby, relax. You're going to be tall." The only time I think Harriet Bailey has ever lied to me. And then later on in my teenage years, she saw my foot, which is the shape of your hand in terms of the height of the toes. Like literally on my left foot, my 3rd toe is bigger than my big toe, just like your hand. And on my right foot, the 2nd toe is bigger than the big toe. And my mother lied to me then and said it was a sign of height. And every summer I was like, go for a layup. Brian Williams would smack it into my front yard. I'd be like, that's okay. Wait till next summer. I'm going to get that spurt, Jack. Be 6'1", 6'2". Be slamming on you, sons of guns. Never happened. Those damn Bailey jeans sucked in. My dad was 5'9". My uncle is 5'7". My uncle Irvin is 5'7". Yeesh. And I didn't get my dad's brains. I got my mom's looks, didn't get my dad's brains, but I got his height. That's all my dad gave me. What else you got?
Why do they give the kids back after they've been removed just to be abused?
Oh, God dang it. I forgot that question because there is a case that was brought up at the supervisors meeting. And I had the quote in my phone and I forgot to ask that question where one of the girls had insisted that they had been taken from their mother because the mother was trying to kill her mother, the children's grandmother. The kids spent 3 days at the Jameson Center and were sent right back to the mother. And I forgot to, I apologize, I forgot to ask about that. How is that possible? Why was the mother not charged? They probably couldn't have answered it, but just I could have presented it hypothetically. I apologize. I should have asked that question. But that's a great question. What else you got?
Ralph, why do you think Trump lied to the American people when he said his big, dumb ballroom wouldn't touch the existing structure of the White House? He's destroying the entire East Wing to make room for this monstrosity.
Because he's a politician. I don't know if you are aware of this, but politicians often lie.
I really don't get why people are upset about this. This happens all the time.
It does. Eisenhower added a putting green. Obama put in a basketball court. It does happen. But here's the issue. Do you know the size of this damn ballroom?
No, that's fair.
It's twice the size of the White House. It's literally twice the size. Because I don't know if you know it, and I shouldn't say this, but I've driven by the White House.
Shameless plug.
Hmm?
Shameless plug?
No, it's an inside joke because
it
was done on a trip where I should not have been out and about. Yeah, many. I hope.
Get yourself.
I hope. I know. I hope Lily's not listening. It was long ago, but nobody knows about it. I've been smart enough to keep my big bazoo shut until right now, because like I've talked about, I dated a girl in Silver Spring, Maryland when I was going to school in Atlanta, and I spent a lot of time in Washington, and I've been to most of the monuments, but the big ones I have not been. I've never been to the African American Museum. I've never been to the Holocaust Museum, and believe it or not, the guy who claims to be the presidential historian, the guy that you could never challenge and quiz and defeat me on presidential history and knowledge, never been to the White House. Never been to the White House. And I spent at least 2 summers of my 4 years in Atlanta in the DC, Maryland area. I spent a couple of Thanksgivings there. We would go up just on a whim on the weekends. Oh, that's a tough drive from Atlanta to DC. It's an 11-hour drive. So you can't really stop and sleep, but you just got to keep going, and it's half the day. You know, you leave at like 6 in the morning, and you get there when the sun's going down. That's a tough drive. But you know, my girlfriend lived there, so we did it all the time. If we didn't have classes on a Friday, we'd take off on a Thursday night, get there Friday morning, spend a 3-day weekend in DC. I loved it, but I've never been to the White House. But anyway, the White House is really small. You'd be surprised. And this thing is double the size of it. And of course, Democrats have a problem with it because it's Trump. That's the only reason they have a problem with it. But yes, I could, in fact, maybe tomorrow I'll chronicle all the changes that have been made to the White House. Almost every president, Roosevelt changed the White House. Like I said, Dwight Eisenhower put in a putting green. Obama put in a basketball court. Richard Nixon had a bowling alley put into the White House. Most presidents. Jackie Kennedy came in, and you know Jackie Kennedy, Miss Bon Vivant, Miss French, Miss, top 1% of the country. She came from money, big money. She came into the White House and was like, this place is a dump, and completely renovated it. Drove John Kennedy nuts because she was spending our money. And Kennedy literally once told her, you're going to get me unelected, spending all this money. They had all kind of French designs. She has a French background, and so it's commonly done. But they have a problem with it because it's Trump. They were talking about this on The View this morning, how tacky it looks and how it's going to look like Mar-a-Lago and blah, 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 blah. You know what? It's like when a team runs up the score. Don't complain. Stop them. And if you didn't want Trump to do all these things, then you should have had a primary and put up somebody better than Kamala Harris. So stop whining. Elections have consequences, and the president gets to do whatever the hell he wants, essentially, to the White House. And I heard them screaming, it's not your house. Whoopi Goldberg, hair on fire. It's not your house. It's the people's house. Really? The people told Barack Obama to put a basketball court in our house? Really? Just so ridiculous. It really is. Final break of the night. Chicken night for the kid. Pollo Campano. I should hit them up to advertise because I'm giving them way too much free advertising. But they roast their chicken.
Ooh.
Yeah. And the beans and rice are really spicy, which I dig. Because we're stuck watching NBA. Chris loves it, but yeah.
We had a double OT yesterday.
Early, but it's one of 82.
Lakers actually look well.
No, they didn't.
And when you get LeBron back, you might.
No. Did you watch the game?
I watched a little bit of it.
We're not athletic. We've got problems on the wing. We don't have a true big man.
Luka looks good, though.
Luka looks like literally and figuratively.
43, 12, and 9.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 209.
Yeah,
I mean, he's lost weight. He's skinny, Luka.
I didn't realize this till today. He's only 26. He's only 26.
That's why we're moving off LeBron. We're moving off LeBron, and this Laker team has to be cast around Luka. He is a child. He hasn't even hit his. You know what? Write this down. Write this down. When does the season end? June?
Roughly, yeah.
All right, write this down for June. Luka will win the scoring title. I said it. Luka will win the scoring title. He had 43 last night, and it didn't even look like it. I only caught really the second half. But, and you know who's through? I'll tell you what superstar is through. Even though he had 23 points last night in a loss. I'll share that with you when we come back. Plus, the top 10 Halloween candies. Ralph Bailey ending the show on a light note. Isn't that crazy? It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KERN, streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Norma Diaz, owner of La.
Did you talk to me?
Well, I was going to see if you want to do promos.
Yeah.
You sitting on the donut?
Yeah.
Are you? Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, remind me to put it back in there. Is it ours or is it Kerr's?
No, it's ours.
It's ours?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Keep it in there.
Huh?
Keep it in there.
But Kerr's kid uses it.
Oh, true. I forgot Kyle uses that. Yeah, no, you're right. I'll move it back in here.
I'll drop it off.
Whenever you're ready.
Ooh, let me do 3, 2. As I said, I've been told by a pair of supervisors that Lito Murillo and Maria Bermudez, head of the Department of Human Services, really nice people. And it's not personal. It's a tough job. I get it. But for them to declare that I asked them, what grade would you give yourselves? They said an A. So there's no room for improvement. The grand jury didn't say that you're understaffed. This is ridiculous. That's why we're paying probably hundreds of thousands of dollars for a San Diego County company to come to Kern and tell us how to protect our children. Will that fit? You sure?
Yeah, I can cut some stuff too.
I don't want to cut it. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather do it over than cut it.
Then yeah, you're gonna need to go down.
Damn.
Like 10 seconds.
How long is it?
30.
It's 30 seconds?
Well, what you did was 30,
But it's 20?
I need you to do about 20.
All right, let's do it after the show. Let me do the other one real quick. What's tomorrow? Thursday? 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Thursday TRBS. Well, it's a Thursday. Mike Turnipseed from Kern Tax will be here, along with our money man, Daniel Petrie. And of course, we'll preview game 1 of the 2025 World Series. All that and me at 3. It's TRBS. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. I'll see you at 3. How much time we got?
SBCA holding a
How much time we got?
microchip and vaccination clinic.
A minute? Minute 30? Let's try it one more time.
From 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. $20 each for a microchip or vaccine.
Let's try one more.
Now is a great time to adopt.
You ready? 3, 2. I've been told by friends at Lito Murillo and Bear. God damn it. 3, 2. I'm sure Lito Murillo and Maria Bermudez are extremely nice people and they work hard. And it's a difficult job at the Department of Human Services. But for them to declare that their grade that I asked them is an A means there's no room for improvement. And you've heard what the grand jury has said, and you've seen what is going on. There is a lot of improvement that could be done. I didn't like that.
Shop early for the best selection. Come shop for semi-auto pistols before they're banned in California. Stock is going fast.
No, let me do that again. I'm going to do that again after the
Highway,
show.
Just south of the 58 freeway. Got a question? Give us a call. 366 AMMO. Come take advantage of the great buys and look for us in 2026 up the road about 2 miles at Pioneer Plaza. Locally owned and operated. We'll see you at the Bear, where the tradition continues.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
So what are we, 9 days away from Halloween? I think it's going to be a long time. Big party at Casey Steakhouse, belly dancers, etc., etc. If you haven't gotten your tickets already, I strong suggest you call the restaurant and get a reservation. It's a $150 ticket. It's a 5-course meal with craft, what?
Sorry, continue your thing first.
with craft cocktails and belly dancers. You can take photographs with them. And like I said, a 5-course meal by our good friend, Chef Daniel. What do you got?
I almost forgot. We have tickets to give away.
Oh, that's right. That's right. What number caller? Tell them what you got and what number caller you want.
So we have a pair of tickets to the Crossroads of the West Gun Show happening at the Kern County Fairgrounds this weekend, October 25th and 26th.
What number caller?
Take the 4th caller. We'll get
number 4, 842-5376, 842-KERN. In the meantime, the final minutes, top 10 Halloween candies.
Ooh.
So you correctly guessed. Well, let's wait. We'll go from 10 to 9.
I mean, there's only one candy. Let's be honest.
I agree, but the weird thing is, people either love this candy or they hate it. But candy corns is not on the list. Not on the list. How can that be? I love candy corns, but I know a lot of people that hate the sight of candy corns. But number 10 is Airheads. Please stand by. It's Veterans Day tribute. Justina Howell is sending me a Veterans Day tribute on November the 7th, Friday. I'll tell you more about that later. But number 10 is Airheads. I need Chris for this. Hey, can you put them on hold? Please stand by. I'm trying because I need Chris for this bit. But he won't put them on hold. Please stand by. We only have 2 minutes left. Hey, I need you for this bit. Put them on hold. What's he doing? Just say, I got to go. Ralph needs me for this bit. Just hold on. You got your caller?
Yeah, I just needed to get that out of
Yeah,
the way.
just put him on hold. All right, so number 10 is Airheads. Never heard of it.
Really?
Never heard of it.
Airheads are fantastic. It's a
Dude, I'm an old man. You think I'm an old man that was pre-diabetic. You think I eat candy? Is it new?
No.
You had it as a kid?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Good?
Oh yeah.
It's number
Flavored
10.
taffy.
What is it? What is it?
Taffies, like
okay.
kind of like a thinner version of Laffy Taffy.
Number 9, Kit Kat. I'm a Kit
Okay,
Kat
that's
guy.
fair.
Yeah. I'm a Kit Kat guy. I don't mind Kit Kats. Number 8, Twix. I have never been a Twix fan.
Twix PB, you got me. Everything else, hard pass.
What is Twix PB?
Peanut butter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have a peanut butter based one.
Oh, wow. I've never had that.
Because they used to have a chocolate cookie inside instead, but now it's nah.
Number 7, Sour Patch.
Sour Patch Kids, fantastic.
I don't like sour.
Love sour.
Number 6, Nerds.
We've already been over this. Could hard pass on this one.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that. Okay, now the top 5, we get into my wheelhouse.
Gotcha.
Skittles are number 5. I love Skittles.
Of course.
If I wasn't pre-diabetic or trying to keep my A1C, I'd go in that. We have them in our thing. I'd eat them every day.
Any flavor of Skittle I could eat.
If I was your age, I'd be in that damn candy thing every day with some Skittles. Love Skittles. I like to suck on them and get them soft and then chew them up. That's just me. Snickers.
Okay.
Everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? I
grew up
prefer.
hating it.
Really?
Yeah, I grew up hating it.
I prefer the mini ones. I don't know why.
Probably just because it's poppable, but I agree with you.
Yeah. Number 3, the Hershey bar. I always thought that was overrated.
Super plain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super overrated.
With almonds, it's not bad.
But even then, I prefer many more candies.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think it's way too high. M&M's, number 2.
Ooh, yeah, but peanut M&Ms are supreme, in my opinion.
You know, everybody always asks that question, what do you prefer? I go either way.
See,
I go either way.
If we're going plain versus peanut, always peanut, but peanut butter, the red bags, the ones that we also have in this here vending machine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh, I might have to have one of those tomorrow. I've never had that.
Filled with peanut butter. It is fantastic.
I have never had that.
Oh, it's so good. Imagine it's really what Reese's Pieces should be.
And now I have had Reese's Pieces. I'm kind of fishy on that. And you correctly predicted what my favorite candy is, and it's number 1, which is
Reese's.
Dude, I told you I had a Sears card when I was in college, and I was supposed to buy towels and underwear and socks.
Yeah.
But if you remember, and you don't, because I doubt you were even a 15 when Sears started closing, Sears also had a candy section. You remember that, guys? Old people? They had like a candy section where they literally, it was like just, they sold candy. And I used to charge up Reese's Pieces or Reese's bars. For Chris, I'm Ralph. We'll see you tomorrow.
AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.
All right, you're ready to go whenever you're ready.
Three, two. I'm sure Lito Murillo and Maria Bermudez, the head of the Department of Human Services, are hardworking, good people, and it's a tough job. But for them to come on the show and declare that they're an A, then why the Sam Hill are we going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to have somebody in San Diego County tell us how to protect our children here in Kern County?
to Moscow's brutal war on Ukraine. The sanctions unveiled Wednesday against oil giants Rosneft and Lukoil follow months of calls from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, as well as bipartisan pressure on Trump to hit Russia with harder sanctions on its oil industry. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you have an IRA or 401k, this is a message you really need to hear. In just the last 2 years, the price of 1 troy ounce of silver has more than doubled, up over 100%, and silver is now poised for major gains in the months ahead. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741-GOLD to learn how to convert a portion of your retirement assets into physical silver and position yourself for the next wave of growth in precious metals. It's not too late to leverage the power of silver to help secure your financial future. With the devaluation of the U.S. dollar and volatility in the stock market, silver continues to be a safe haven asset that investors trust. When you call 800-741-GOLD, you'll get your free precious metals rollover guide, plus a copy of former IMF Chairman Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. The time is now.
Just ordering my dinner.
Adding silver into
Have
the
a
mix
great
to
night.
protect
We'll
your
see you tomorrow.
retirement. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741-4653. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-741-GOLD.